Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to 3Y TV. And tonight, the OSCA Sportsman Series heads to the Charlotte Roval, the long version for the Me Fine 128 for another round in the chase-offs here. Standings got mixed up last week, and we'll get to that in just a second. But tonight we have two halves, 26 laps and 27 laps. Top six will invert. Should be a good show here tonight, but I'm joined here with, as always, Carlos Acosta and Matthew Bayuk will be sitting alongside me in the booth. There you do see the chase-off standings as of right now, or coming into tonight. But Matt, here we're running this long version. We're calling it the Me Fine 6, 7, and 8, but I'm going to call it what some people called, it looked like a gourd, so we're going to call it the Me Fine Gourd tonight, and it's a spot that a lot of these drivers are just not familiar with.
Yeah, usually when you come out of that uphill right-hander, you get into that shallow double left-hander to get back onto the oval and you really open it up. But you really, in opposition to what you normally do, have to back it down, and it's a couple of tight, twisting and winding corners. And I just saw Brent Jones go out for his first lap of the session. He took the regular layout and drove all the way off course, and that was a fairly common thing. People were aware of the layout change and they drove off course anyways, because that's what they're used to. The Roval's been around for a few years now, so it's definitely going to be a trouble spot tonight. The drivers did not really have a whole lot of time to prepare for that, and I think that adds a level of excitement and uncertainty to a already exciting event.
Now, we do see a lot of the names as far as the practice speed charts are concerned. We see Cameron Rich filling in for John Linchenstein on top of the leaderboard. Nick Indelicato, who needs to dig himself out of a hole. Did Carlos just get excited because his boy's here?
My boy!
I'm not really sure what he's saying, but they are excited noises.
But they are very excited noises. But you see Kean there in fourth. Chris Worrell making his OSCA debut. He is sitting third, but it's got to even be a challenge for guys who, as we start qualifying here right now, it's got to be a challenge for even these guys who are more used to, or better, I guess you could say, at the road courses. It's got to even be a challenge for them, because as you said, a lot of the layouts that it's the traditional Roval layout, I guess, that NASCAR has used since, was it 2018 or so, that they're used to. So it's got to be a challenge for the guys that we normally see up front.
Yeah, and maybe back in 2018, it was a concern. You came to this track and it was new and they weren't sure about it, but you get used to it. It's almost like, I don't know how to put it. It's like if they took, it's like when they took Texas and repaved that and reconfigured it. It's like, yeah, everybody knows Texas is a 1.5 mile D-shaped oval, cookie cutter, but it was a totally different track. It's kind of the same concept applied here in terms of a radical change to the layout, but it's a whole section of track where not only have they not driven on, they haven't raced on it. It changes the dynamic of everything. It changes your approach to the bus stop because your entrance back onto the oval is significantly slower. It has a huge effect on where the race is going to go tonight.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. I mean, comparatively, what we've seen here, even in OSCA past, we've seen us go to Watkins Glen, a track that I think a lot of guys, even that aren't as good on road courses, are more familiar with. But we went to Das Boot there at Watkins Glen a few seasons ago, and Das Boot Party. This week we have Das Gourd Party. Yeah, the Me Fine. Yeah, the gourds are good. Yeah.
I'm not going to carry that any further.
And cut.
Oh man.
As we see Chris Gutierrez making his laps here, and man, I'm even myself as not running this layout at all. Got to get kind of familiar with when they are going to kind of hit that Me Fine Gourd here tonight. The Me Fine turns 7, 8, and 9, and generally when I know it, I see when they're already out of it, because that, like you said, that transition from that infield to the track is way different. Like right here, right? He's in there. Dewar's in there now. I believe.
Yeah, he's in the gourd right now. He's taking this right-hander, which is extremely tight, and you see the tightest corner on the racetrack is going to be this left-hander. Usually they're carrying about 80, 90 miles an hour coming onto the track. They are getting down to about 35, 40 miles an hour there. It's pretty much a hairpin. I think the only tighter corner we've taken all year was probably turn 1 at Spa and the last turn at Long Beach.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, a challenge for drivers today. I've seen a lot of guys, especially once they get out of that tight turn. I believe it would be turn 9 in the gourd, is getting back on that racing surface. Seen a lot of drivers spin out there because, as you said, just a different transition. And speaking of transitions here, Matthew, he done did it. Our boy Bracy,
he did.
He put the cat on the scheme. If you can point it out at home, let us know. Put it in the chat. We won't give it away. This is a challenge.
Here, you'll get a good shot of it right there.
I think I saw it.
I'm not going to say it's the most hidden. It's cleverly put.
No, it is very cleverly put.
If you're not thinking about it, you won't see it.
Right.
If we would have brought it up, yeah, they probably would. Viewers at home would have been left in the dark.
Getting our first lap times in here. Chris Worrell jumping to the top with a pretty good lap time early.
Yeah, running a 131.73, good lap, and he's quite a bit faster right off the bat than Nick Indelicato, who was fast in practice as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I didn't know Chris Worrell was a good road course racer. We raced with him in OSCA. He was really good in the COT. He was pretty good in this B car too. I had no idea he was good at road courses. This is news to me. I knew Indelicato. I knew Keen was going to be fast. I figured Damien to be fast. I didn't expect Cameron Rich to be here tonight, and I did not expect Chris to be this fast. So this is a lot more interesting to me than it was about half an hour ago.
Yeah, and a perfect time for Rich and Worrell to kind of play spoilers here tonight.
Oh yeah.
And kind of wreck the chase off people's party here. And I'll be interested to see how they do as he's still holding on to that top spot. Kian, with that lap we just saw, move to second. Now gets knocked out by Damien, who I don't believe broke into the 132s in practice, but does so in qualifying here.
Yeah, he beat his practice time by over 3/10, and it looks like we're only going to get about half the field putting a lap in there for qualifying, just the top 16.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, before we get through the driver's lineup, we do have the broadcast cup here going down. And,
Most important cup.
There you see the standings, and it's getting a little tighter now. But, Carlos, you kick it off.
I'm getting closer and closer. And, I got to do this. I got to go with my boy Cameron Rich. Didn't post a qualifying lap, but I know he's consistent, and he's going to consistently get me points tonight.
Ooh, I liked even the reasonings. It was very well thought out, and I love it. I'm gonna go with Nick Indelicato. He needs to kind of turn his luck around here, and I think tonight he gets it done.
Last time I picked this guy, I picked him twice in one night, and he won both races. I would pick Chris Worrell, but I have not seen what he can do in the race yet. I've got to go Kian Raleigh here. He was pretty fast in practice. He's starting third here today. And he's just a guy that I've seen him do good on road courses before. Maybe if Chris puts together a good first half here, I'll maybe go with him next half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to point out. And speaking of drivers' lineups, we'll get into that. We'll get to Chris Worrell here, who is in that 15 car for S2 Racing. And he's from Suffolk, Virginia. And alongside him in the front row is Damian Leininger in that number 12 South Shore Racing Chevy, and he's racing out of Bakersfield, California.
Starting third is June is excited about this one, I assume. Starting third in the number 9 Wally Racing Ford Mustang from Highland Heights, Kentucky. It's your points leader, Kian M. Raleigh. Outside of him is his championship foe, one of his championship foes, in the number 4 Shift Esports Ford Mustang from Syracuse, New York. Going to be snowed in here in a few days. Under 6 feet of snow is Nick Indelicato.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a fun one. But in the third row, we have a couple of chase-off drivers. We'll start it off with the inside, and that's going to be Chris Gutierrez for Nurse Aviator Racing, and he's out of Kansas. And alongside him in the number 73 In-Law Racing Chevrolet, it's the Land Shark Kynan Jones, and he's racing out of Blackwater, Queensland, Australia.
Starting in the 7th position in the number 26 Shift Esports Ford Mustang from Struthers, Ohio, it's Dallas Myhan. To his outside on the number 11 Shift Esports Mustang, his teammate from Alberta, Canada, it is Nathaniel Cherry.
And here is the man of the hour to kick off row number 5. It's going to be Zach Evans in the Me Fine Wally Racing Ford, and he's racing out of Princeton, North Carolina. And alongside him is Adam Tepe in his South Shore Racing Chevrolet, and he's from the dirty side of South Bend.
Just outside the top 10 now, back in row 6, it's the 91 of Cooper Johnson for Beers Motorsports from South St. Paul, Minnesota. To his outside is the number 25 Shift Esports Ford Mustang from Peabody, Massachusetts. It is the Rocket Man, Seth Rawls.
And kick off row number 7 in that number 66 3 pedals Mafia Toyota out of Colts Neck, New Jersey. It's Neil Rutt III. And alongside him in the number 13 Nurse Aviator Racing Chevrolet out of South Carolina, it's Adam Sugar Moon Peeler.
Starting 15th, the number 71 3-pedal Mafia Toyota from New Jersey, it's David Carpenter. To his outside, and the number 10 SG Racing Team Ford Mustang from Asheville, North Carolina, Ty McIntosh.
And next up is, his standings are going to be
you gotta skip two drivers here.
Undisclosed reasons. But we'll have Cameron Rich in the number 86 In-Law Racing Chevrolet, and he's out of Yorktown, Virginia. And
it's going green. I can't set the grid any farther.
Okay. So
we're going green right now. Then
we're going green, and we have. We'll just go quickly through the names here. We have Bracy, Tufts, Dewar, Conrad, Capuano, Gomera, Jones, Tarble, Kenton, and Thomas round out the field as we are now green flag.
Oh, we got trouble already. Chris Gutierrez is not moved from the starting grid. He gets going now.
Oh, you wonder, did he turn his car off with the long idle time and maybe forgot to turn it on? But it looks like most of the people avoided him there. Doesn't appear to be any contact. And Worrell's dropped all the way back to the 5th position right off the get-go.
Worrell's car broke loose and he saved it, but yeah, right as he dove off into turn 1, it got real sideways on him. Only still in 5th, no damage on the car, but man, losing that lead early stinks.
Yeah, not fun. He's got some work to do now as he's trying to get back in a rhythm, but that puts Damian Leininger up front.
To the gourd.
To the gourd. Here we go. The Me Fine Gordon and Brent Jones around, getting back going.
I think everybody really being careful here, snaking through as single file as they can.
Yeah, and I just have to point out a programming note here that the two drivers we did see in the lineup that were not actual drivers was, of course, our own Matty B and Nate Steinmiller, who was supposed to join as a crew chief for our race leader right now. But once you kind of designate yourself as a driver, you cannot change it. So
got bad news,
Steinmiller
guys.
will be in the lineup. But right now he's crew chiefing Leininger to a
oh
top spot.
My goodness, we almost had calamity. Neil Rutt hopped over the curbs coming out of the bus stop. A couple of guys had to take evasive action to miss him, but we made it through clean.
Guys, I got bad news if you're a Jordan Tarble fan.
Uh-oh. Dun.
This is initially off the start.
Oh, no.
Right into the heartburn turn.
I wonder if that was that, maybe just starting and parking for points and kind of going out with a blaze of glory there.
Certainly parked it.
Yes.
Would you say that was some maximum destruction to his car?
Oh, there you go, maximum destruction off the monster truck. And why am I glitching? My screen's glitching out there for a second. And now we're back, still racing here as Damian Leininger, which I am surprised that he's been able to hold on to the lead. We're only a couple laps in, but he was about a mid-pack driver as far as practice speeds were concerned, but obviously running a real consistent so far.
Yeah, he is, and I know all 4 of these guys in the top 4, Leininger, Raleigh, Jones, Delicato, all in the chase-offs. None of them are pushing right now, but if Damian really were, a mid-pack race pace, he wouldn't still be in the lead right now. As much as Kean or Kynan might be chilling out right now, Damian's probably not pushing too hard now because those rear tires, they take a beating here. If you paid attention to what they drive here, they're whipping it around here quite aggressively, even taking it easy. But regardless of how they're driving their cars right now, yeah, Damian doing a really nice job managing this gap early.
I believe Neil Rutt is the third off course, losing a ton of position. Oh, there he is. Trying to let the field go by. He rejoins the course, and I believe that was kind of a calamity for him even last lap, that area of the track. Kind of coming out of the bus stop.
Yeah, it's a trouble spot. Let's see. Oh, he took it a lot wide. Oh, wow. Oh, man.
Too much rear brake on that one. And, you know, talking to Dusty Dewar before, we have a Packer game on tonight. We're kind of watching the Packer game. He said that in general, the brakes here, no matter if you moved them back or forward, just was a handful. And kind of talking to Vic Bloom, who was also in our chat, was kind of saying these brakes were kind of set up for the traditional Roval, so it's kind of been a handful for some of these drivers, kind of handling the different pace.
Yeah, and for real, I've seen quite a few times, Dylan Thomas, by the way, disconnected. I've seen a few times drivers locking up in various spots on the track, and that's probably when they're pushing more. They're all doing a pretty good job as it is right now. Locking up has already been a solid issue. As we see here, Carlos's boy Cameron Rich actually started this lap in 9th, currently making the move for 7th, and they're looking for more on Nathaniel Cherry. He's wasting no time working his way through the field. He started 17th, and it's usually pretty hard to pass at road courses. He's already passed about 10 cars.
Yeah, and some of the other guys I'm really surprised that are moving up through the field, kind of in the mid-pack right now. Caden Tuff's making his return. Uh-oh.
Gutierrez has
where'd the hood go?
I don't know.
Oh, it's been gone.
I think it left with Dylan Thomas, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Well, he was behind Dylan Thomas before Dylan disconnected.
So are you saying?
I'm saying I saw what happened. Yes.
Oh, I just saw what happened. Yep.
What I'm interpreting this as is Dylan Thomas got out of his car, stole Gutierrez's hood, and then walked away.
What you're telling me is that you think you're better than me and you think I missed something.
Whoa!
So maybe Carlos should be race control.
I'm not Johnny Eckerding it right now.
Wee. Never challenged the Carlos.
He did have go ahead.
Cameron Rich really on the move, but two guys I was gonna say moving up about mid-pack. Caden Tufts I believe he's in the SpongeBob car, kind of cool looking this weekend, and Dustin Dewar, who really did not like the feel of this car all week long. He's been practicing. Currently moved up 8 spots into 14th, and hey, even how about the emotional support pick of Gilberto Javier Gomera? He's up 7 spots.
I have an announcement.
He has an announcement to make.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Here, Dylan Thomas reaches his hand out there. I'm going to try to steal your hood. Ooh, he has a hard lick. Oh.
The Bojangles took it.
Mr. Bojangles.
You gotta be careful when you go to the Bojangles.
By the way, Chris Worrell worked his way around in Delicato. He is right back up to that battle for the lead, and it is definitely a battle for the lead. Kian Raleigh all over the back bumper of Damian Leininger.
And this could be a 3-horse race for that top spot, as they are, I believe they're in the gourd now. Are they in the gourd?
No, we're not there yet. No. More corners. We're almost there.
I'm getting excited.
You're way ahead of you. You're excited for the gourd.
I'm not B-Fine right now, but they're about to head to the B-Fine gourd. Here we go. Here it is. A live look. Chris Worrell in the gourd, and you kind of see the line they just passed, a blue line they crossed over. That was the traditional track. Now they're going into the gourd.
Ooh, pull sideways there, getting on. I've had a lot of fun watching. There has been quite the variation of lines for just about every corner here. I've seen everybody in the top 5 here do it a little bit differently, and actually I stand corrected because Cameron Rich has just broken his way into the top 5. As I said, you know, Cameron Rich might be in the race lead before this thing's over. I did not think he'd come back from 17th to win the race, but he is setting a blistering pace right now.
Yeah, he's only three and about a third seconds off.
Kian.
Washed up high. That will give Worrell the spot. He was the fastest car on track last lap. And but guy on the move, Cameron Rich. But he's closing that gap big time on Damian, who's been holding on to that lead thus far. And now pulling away from Worrell in the meantime, but I would expect Worrell making making a bid for that lead not too long.
Chris is, as we've seen him getting out in the corners, Chris is driving it harder. What I'm interested to see is one of the tires start to flip in the other direction, because he and Damien, I'm sure Damien, Rut's having a fun day already. It's an interesting dichotomy of Chris Worrell really running his stuff hard up front, and then Cameron Rich has completely closed up to this top 5 now. There's no way he's saving tires running up here to the front, but I don't expect Cameron Rich to have bad long run speed no matter what the racetrack is.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like he is.
Contact for the lead! Contact for the lead!
Whoa, bumper cars!
Yeah, Worrell gave him a touch. Everybody checked up, and that is huge because Indelicato has taken advantage, and now he's side by side with Kian.
Look at the concentration here by Ty McIntosh. Is that tongue sticking out? You know he's full pump mode. Yep. Paying attention. Look at his head. The head bobbing.
He is dialed in.
He is dialed in. Oh, hey.
Yo, look at his fancy lights.
Ooh. To me, that's just a distraction. That's a little too fancy.
And he needs some bubbles. Oh, sorry, berries. That's a snack right there.
Ooh, all berries. Ooh, yeah. Those are good. Can't complain, as we do see Worrell taking over the top spot of Dave. Oh, Davies fight back.
Worrell just about takes slap in the wall. He's all right.
And that's an unprotected wall.
And Cameron Rich on the move here, as he did. Indelicato moved past the Kian, but Cameron Rich also did. And he's looking to get by an Indelicato, and man, Cameron Rich on the move. He's on that loud pedal. He is going to the front.
Oh my goodness, he is sliding. It is so hard to go through there side by side. I cannot believe they just did that, but they did. What was missed earlier, notice the 9 car has fallen back. He actually hopped over that exit curb again, did some monster trucks, although he's looking to get that spot back from Nick.
Tufts goes around. Oh, Tepe goes around as well.
Oh, Gilberto, no! The emotional support pick.
And both those drivers
cars
there,
everywhere.
Man, those cars that were, we seen Caden Tufts moving up through the field, all that work he's done. Gilberto moving up through the field as well, all for not now as
I caught that live.
Slide back. What's that?
I caught that live because I was on board with Ty.
Yeah.
That's
look at it. You know what? I mean, I'm still just admiring the concentration level. Although he gets a little cocky going down this backstretch here, able to wipe the dirt off.
I'm picturing a couple memes, couple emotes being released. Zoom in of 5 6 now.
Damien almost wrecked it.
Oh man, we missed it on the top of the screen.
Damn, to second.
By Ty McIntosh. Damien hanging on for dear life, trying to stay inside the top 5. Well, I guess it's a battle for 3rd. He will go back to 4th now. Kian right there looking to get by for the 4th position.
Kian's going to pounce on his struggles as he runs wide there. I think good timing there for that 9 car. He's not quite clear. It's going to hurt his exit here. And Damien might actually hang on to this. Oh, not quite. He gets loose off there.
And one thing I've been noticing here too, the way these guys have been racing, it's been crossover move after crossover move, no matter what the battle is on track, and no matter if it's in the corner or in the more traditional parts of this racetrack. And generally, I guess when I'm a part of road course racing, it seems like guys will kind of relinquish that position. But tonight, these guys are giving it their all. They're giving it 110%, trying to battle for every inch on the track. And I think that's just has all to do with the chase-offs going on right now.
Yeah, speaking of chase-offs, most interesting thing I see, top 2 guys are not chase-off drivers.
They're here spoiling the party.
Oh
the non-chase-off guys are definitely me fine right now.
I say that just because Cameron Rich closed an incredible amount of gap getting on the brakes. I don't think I've seen anybody drive that hard into that chicane tonight and do it as smooth as he has. I think maybe that's where this 86 car's beating everybody. He is superb on the brakes, and here he is. Oh, they're going to make contact. Both of them are spinning. Both of the championship contenders. Both missing.
Indelicato takes the lead, but he cut through the course. He might have to slow down.
He does.
He's going to have a
chaos
slowdown.
ensues.
He's going to have a big slowdown here.
And that gives the lead back to
Oh,
Kian.
can't touch.
Oh, and they go around. Oh boy!
Right, the whole race is unraveled.
What in
It is
standard
unraveled.
deviation is going on?
no kidding. And Damian Leininger retakes the lead. And how about Kynan Jones now in second? What just happened?
By the way, the 9 and the 4 car have found each other again on track.
Yeah, and coincidentally, oh boy, this could get real now. I don't think the first contact was intentional, but these guys' tempers might be high. Keep an eye out. We know the rivalry between those two drivers.
We don't know if the Delicado was entirely forgiving. He had a time penalty there he was going to have to serve. I think he knew Kian was going to get away. I'm not saying he did it intentionally, but it was going to be bad for him if he let that 9 car get away with the lead. That might have been drastic measures to keep the 9 car from stealing another win here, and now they're both mired outside of the top 5.
Yeah, now they're back in the 7th and 8th position as you see those cars bumper to bumper. As we also have the top screen on Chris Worrell, who was our leader just a moment ago, battling with Cameron Rich. Cameron Rich third, and Worrell's back in the 6th spot. So now, after all that, I'm looking at these guys. Now they're 5 seconds back. And if these guys, if Kynan Jones and Damian Leininger are smooth and work together over these next 17 laps, and I believe a pit stop would probably be coming up here as well. I forgot to check it.
I doubt they are working together. I know Vic probably has us the fuel. There it is, yeah. No idea what fuel will look like. Okay. we don't have the fuel run this week. But Kynan Jones, I believe, was catching Damian before all that madness unfolded. Kynan might be in a prime position here to take the lead soon if he can pounce on anything that goes wrong with the 12 car, because Damian's been struggling lately. Still fast, but I've seen some mistakes out of that 12 car.
Well, maybe not working together per se, but maybe just trying to find their P's and Q's. But as we see, Damian got a good run there, just to try to pull away. But I'm looking back at Cameron Rich, and he's not that far behind. I mean, from what we've seen him do from the initial start of this race, I don't think the gap between him and Damian right now is a deal breaker for him.
So I was listening to driver. There was a lot of chatter between Delicado and Race Control about penalties for that spin. I heard something about clearing though. Vic, can you?
Okay. So what happened is the 4 car got a penalty for cutting the track when he spun, which I've decided I'm not going to clear because I just don't want that to be a habit of anybody. So, but I will spare him with not making him stop in his pit box, and I will give him a single, just like drive-through penalty.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
But I don't feel 45 seconds in your pit box is a fair penalty for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that is a fair call. We do see Dustin Dewar going through the bus stop. Ooh, riding those curbs.
Oh,
One thing,
man.
Oh, that was a hard hit.
Oh, wow.
Tepe. Oh, boy. And I think they're both on pit road right now. And Dewar might be watching the Packer game for the rest of the first half here.
How are they doing?
What? Ooh, the Kynan's caught up to the back end of Damian here. And oh boy, I can't remember where I was going to go with the penalty there, but generally, I'm kind of surprised he would have to serve a drive-through in Delicado. Generally, I thought it would be a.
Well, it's actually there's two things that happened there that led to it. It's the first cut track, and then he didn't have enough time to clear that before he cut the track again when he spun.
Okay.
That's where a penalty came.
Doubled up. Okay, that makes sense now.
It's on iRacing.
Yep. I get it. Oh, actually, I remember what else I was going to say, and now they're on the other bus stop. It just hit me like a bag of bricks here.
Delicado's in for the drive-through now.
See, maybe he tops off on fuel if that is an issue here tonight. We'll find out. But one thing I've noticed for a lot of these drivers, and it kind of pointed out in that Dewar wreck we just saw just a couple seconds ago.
By the way,
I'm kind of surprised. But
he is not watching the Packers game.
Yeah, he's not. But the angle that these guys are taking into that bus stop looks generally different than what I've seen when they normally run on the traditional course.
Yeah, it's very. Now that is that the Is that the old version of that?
That is the old version.
That's the old version. Before they changed it, where they can just about go straight through there. I didn't even. I mean, obviously, I could see how fast they were going through, but it just occurred to me, yeah, they changed that fairly quickly on the original when they first introduced this track, and so they wouldn't be doing that. But yeah, they're hauling the mail through there.
That's okay. That's why I was wondering, because it just looked different. It looked totally different. And yeah, so just the angle that these guys have been attacking, just a little bit different than even what we're normally seeing.
For the viewers wondering, that Delicado penalty, I figured it would hurt him much more. But because of the pit road, because of the sharp corners around pit road, and it's not just a straight shot for the guys on track, the time difference loss is not significant for Delicado. He's only fallen back to 9th. So obviously, currently losing points to Kian, but not over yet for the 4 car.
No, currently 20 seconds back. It's going to be a tall order for him to gain points in this half, but definitely could get back into in the swing of things, maybe even be a couple spots behind before this race is through. But speaking of race, we have a 3-horse race once again with Leininger, Jones, and Rich.
You know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't kind of rooting for Jones here.
Yeah, it'd be kind of a little bit of a Cinderella story.
Oh, I jinxed him.
Oh boy! Oh, hang on, buddy. Hang on,
I think
buddy.
he's gonna be okay. He's still drifting.
He does. The land shark does a little landslide, and he hangs on to it.
Oh man!
Wow.
I would have just gone to bed. I would have left the booth and gone to bed. I almost got sick.
Oh man! Rocket Man goes off course a little bit. Seth Rawls, a little contact with the former employee here.
Oh, former employee, yeah. Sometimes it feels good to push the boss man around after you left.
Oh, Dewar lost his bumper for a second.
Oh, no.
He found it.
But he found it.
Damian Leininger coming onto pit road here.
Oh wow, so our leader coming down pit road, Cameron Rich, will inherit the race lead here. So fuel now a factor, and we gotta wonder, did Delicado pit for fuel once he served his penalty?
I don't think so, because Delicado's coming down right now with everybody else in front of him.
Okay, so he did not. So yeah, just serving the penalty last time. I suppose then Vic probably would have put him down in the penalty box once again. You see it.
Road and
Yeah,
makes it
big
interesting
check.
here. Damian's going to have a pretty good gap once this cycles out. He already had a small lead after Kynan and Cameron's run in, and it'll be a lot easier a gap to manage.
Yeah, we'll see how it cycles out here in just a moment. I'm suspecting now that our leaders have come down pit road that we should see guys like Rich, Jones, Worrell come down pit road relatively shortly. And as Damian, he comes out still in the 5th spot.
Yeah, and that's the fun of pitting at road courses. You don't lose. I mean, ovals, if you want to come down pit road early, and, you know, I say Damian came down pit road early. He dragged just about everybody in the top 20 with him. But coming down pit road early on an oval, you run a huge risk there, especially if they're not large ovals, of losing that lap and a caution coming out. Here, not only are there not cautions, you don't lose that much ground because of how spread out they get. It's one thing I've always enjoyed about road course racing in stock cars, because you don't have cautions. You just kind of get to run your own race. You don't really have to worry about green flag, pit stop, cycling, ruining everything. It is so much more dependent on what you do as a driver, because the outside factors that can hurt you are extremely sparse compared to what you normally see.
Yeah, you know, maybe the few things that could, or potential penalties that we've seen from Delicado.
Oh, yes.
Currently still is scored in 9th, but other than that, we have relatively all in the driver's hands. As speaking of driver's hands, my hand down pit road, and along with Cameron Rich and Kynan Jones making their pit stops. So Chris Worrell now takes over that top spot. Has yet to come down pit road. I believe that's our only leader that's yet to pit.
Yep, watching Damian now as he goes through turn 1. And man, I can see why Delicado didn't lose much on that pass-through penalty. The cut you get coming through pit road is insane. Cameron Rich, I believe it looks like he was better on his pit entry, exit, and stop, because he I think he's closer to Damian than he was. Oh, Seth Rawls slamming the wall there. I think Cameron Rich is a little closer to Damian than he was when they entered pit road.
Yeah, right now a second and a half do separate the 12 and 86. I believe, if I remember correctly, is about a 3-second gap after all that ruckus, maybe more. Before they went down pit road, I can't remember now.
Almost
So,
had
yeah,
a disaster. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that you see how close that gap is between the 12 and the 86 here.
Almost had a disaster with the 9 car. You know that that uphill right-hander, that really steep right-hander. Kean dipped his left sides off into the grass, lost some time, but the ramifications of going off course there is disaster. Just, you know, it's not anything worth going back and looking, but a guy is sound on road courses as the 9 car. I mean, just outside of Kean, we've seen so many errors from guys on road courses already tonight. Even whether whose fault it was, Cameron Rich getting into it with Chris Worrell while racing for the lead. I mean, I don't think there's anybody up in this top 6 here that has had a totally clean night so far.
Yeah, we even see damage on the rear end of that 12 car of Damian Leininger. Ooh, we even see him cut the corner there. Yeah, I think generally when we go to road courses, Matthew, we talk about how smooth a lot of these drivers are. I believe at Long Beach, that was a pretty big kind of talking point we had. And right now, these guys, I would say almost every driver in the field have been slipping and sliding around out here.
Yeah, even on the fresh tires. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of grip in this track, and that's really the B car at road courses. From what I've experienced, the most treacherous experience is Daytona Road. Daytona Road, it's impossible. You put the throttle half down and the car just wants to do a 720 spin. Here it's not as bad. It's a relatively nice surface. But no, these B cars are a little bit more monsters on road courses than you might think. They require a pretty exceptional an exceptional amount of care on the brakes and getting back to the gas.
Yeah, and it's just about who does it the smoothest. And right now, you know, it's probably between these two guys that are up front battling for that lead right now, between Damian Leininger, who maybe doesn't have the pace, but he's been smooth, but Cameron Rich definitely in those braking zones is getting it done.
And I think what we've seen by Cameron Rich driving from 17th all the way to the front in terms of pace, yeah, 12 cars fast, but that 86 car Cameron Rich, as wow, just look at him, just look at the time he gains going. That is his bread and butter right there, getting down to that chicane. I don't know how he can dive it in that deep without locking up or looping it, but he makes up probably a couple tenths each lap in that braking zone alone, and for that reason he goes from 6 car lengths. Says, oh, they make contact again. Cameron Rich gets the worst end of it.
Oh, and he almost slaps the wall. I think he maybe just kissed it with the rear end there, but otherwise he keeps going. Now he's back to 2 seconds behind with only 12 or 10 laps to go. I think he can maybe close that gap once again, but man, oh man, it's been it's been nerve-wracking for Carlos watching Cameron Rich out there tonight. He's driving like a wild man, because again, he's going out there for a win. He's not out there for anything, you know, he's not out there for the chase offs or anything. So he's going out there to get that checker play. He's going for it.
And all that ground he just made up, he's got to do it again. But I think he's already started to make it up on Damian a little bit. Cameron is just good. Damian's good, but I just can't stop thinking about how good this guy is on the brakes. It's incredible to me the way he outbrakes people. But
you know, the other amazing thing about that is, you know, yeah, he's amazing on the brakes, but also you see a lot of guys that will be able to outbrake somebody going into a corner, but they lose a little bit on corner exit. But he's not losing any time on that corner exit. That's probably even the more impressive part of it.
Yeah, no, he brakes later, brakes harder, brakes smoother, gets through the corner just as good if not better, and gets off the corner just as good if not better. I mean, it's fairly uncanny. And you already see the gap there between he and Damian chopped down quite a bit, just visibly on the screen after that slide he had in turn 2 there, getting up to the back end of him. It's already chopped down, and at this rate, in just another lap or two, he'll be right behind him once more.
Yeah, it was 2 seconds just a moment ago, but
lap traffic here.
Oh yeah, that could be a factor here as well. Oh, Cameron goes off track.
Oh
He's
my goodness!
In the wall. I'm wondering if Damien has some sort of like Mario Kart, defense mechanisms on his car tonight. It's weird.
Now this is
Throw
going to be a
banana
lot harder.
peels. This is a 5-second gap, 9 laps to go. Chris Worrell now looking on the inside for second place, and I think even for Cameron, he's got to kind of get back into rhythm and try to see if he close that gap.
Oh, and you see Chris gets a better exit there, and he's got the preferred line. Chris on greener tires hasn't gone sliding this run. I don't think Chris Worrell's going to have an issue hanging on to this spot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that battle plays out, because it could be just a battle for second, as Damien right now just got to be smooth as he's been all night long. And he could potentially come away with the victory here in half number 1 of the Me-Fine 128. And wow.
Oh, more calamity here, more calamity here. Oh my goodness.
Tepe trying to get out of the way. Oh, look at
behind him. Riley and Jones trying to get around Tepe.
Oh boy, it just really nowhere for Tepe to go there. It's kind of an interesting spot to be put in there as a lapper.
And I do want to say all this tomfoolery has allowed Kean to close back up to these guys with the opportunity to gain more spots. But if you look a little further back, you see that 4-car of Indelicato, who is only 1 spot behind Kean. I don't think Indelicato is going to do anything rash if he gets there. Kean has a slowdown. I don't know what
has a
slowdown had to relinquish that spot.
And that will give the lead, or not position, not the lead for Indelicato. They normally battle for the lead, but that was for the 5th spot. And there you see the chase standings coming into tonight.
It was in the chicane. He hopped over the curbs, following Kynan and trying to go around the outside of Tepe. It looked like he hopped it and cut it.
Oh boy, that could be a big penalty for not only Kean, but it's probably big in Damien's eyes as he's sitting there in the lead. As you see, he's second in points coming into tonight, and it'd be a good way to chew into that lead a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing about Damien, he's got 8 laps here. He's got a 6-second gap for Chris to manage. Chris Worrell has to be perfect, and Damien does not have to. Now, that being said, I'm not saying Damien can make mistakes. He just doesn't have to push like crazy. All he needs to do is take care of his stuff. He can manage this gap and come home with a massive, massive win, as he's already been solid and made up points where his other foes have periled, and he can make up a little bit of a gap here. A little bit of that gap on Kean here. Kean's still running 6th. He could still get Indelicato and maybe even Kynan Jones back. But nonetheless, it's points gained in a big hole.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that he wants to see here tonight, as we see a battle here for the 7th position between three Shift Esports Fords. That's a great part there.
I haven't really talked a whole lot about Cherry, but his first race in that DSCR car last week didn't go so well, never really got a chance. But we've seen Cherry run top 5 and top 10 at tracks this season, and my God, do I have a problem with jinxing drivers. He almost just wrecked it there. He's quietly been running top 10 all night, qualified 8th, he's still 7th, doing a pretty good job there in a difficult fill-in situation.
No, one thing, I don't know the corner numbers here at the Roval, but that corner kind of right before we go in the gourd, it's one generally you don't see a whole lot of issues out of. It seems like, when we race here at the traditional oval, but we've seen a lot of cars swinging it wide. I think we've seen Damien kind of do it when he was running up front for the lead, and I believe that's also where Cameron Richard went off track when he was trying to catch Damien from that 2nd spot.
Yeah, and just speaking of Damien, I'm just monitoring the gap here. Chris Worrell has closed that gap, gained about a 2nd last time around, down to 5 seconds. That rate, 1 second a lap, is quicker, but that is an incredibly difficult rate of gain to maintain, 1 second a lap. But if he can keep doing that, then he might have a chance.
Yeah, it's definitely he has enough time if he does maintain that pace. But it seemed like for a while there, it was about that 6-second gap, but now he's even put it under 5 seconds. He's 4 3/4 of a second behind Damien.
Remember, Damien was the first car down pit road. Chris was the last car down pit road. There's about 2-lap difference in that set of tires.
And that could play a big difference here, especially as we've been talking about slipping and sliding for these cars here tonight. See who can duke it out here and who will be the finest of drivers here at the end of half number 1. The fine 128 here at the Roval.
Lots of great stuff going on with Chris catching Damien. Cameron Rich isn't that far behind. Delicato slowly catching Kynan and Kian going with him. We'll have a three-way battle for 4th at this rate. A lot of really important battles going to be heating up here as this race winds down up in the top 6. As far as other chasers go, Seth Rawls and Cooper Johnson having a pretty good run. Ty McIntosh and 12th after starting 16th. Chris Gutierrez, I'm surprised he's 13th. I mean, he had the qualifying pace. He was asleep on the grid or something. Nosed it into the barriers. He's made a solid recovery to 13th.
Yeah, he had his hood stolen. I mean, yeah, still having a pretty solid run out there. And definitely when you see some of the guys that he's kind of racing around in the championship standings, Dustin Dewar, we see the troubles that he had earlier tonight, and Adam Tepe as well, who had a rough go. But Peeler now 2 laps down as well.
Cameron Rich has gotten by Chris Worrell, by the way.
Oh, so now could we see? But now we're still talking about a 5-second gap. So maybe Chris Worrell, I don't know, a time penalty that slowed him up there. But that gap kind of stayed the same now with only 5 laps to go. It'd be a lot of work to do for Cameron Rich if he's going to get to the bumper of that 12 car.
Oh, I can tell you why no time was lost, because in that second right-hand turtle going through the bus stop, Chris jumped his car to the left, and he just about came close to stuffing it in the barriers in that exit curve. Jumped over that, saved his race car, but he drifted it, and it was probably the most terrifying thing I've seen on track all night. Cameron Rich didn't have to sacrifice any time around that.
And then generally, we've seen a lot of terrifying things out there, but oh boy. But right now we do see this battle going on for the 4th position. Kynan Jones has it. Nick Indelicato and Kian Raleigh both want it. Let's see who prevails here in the final 4 laps here in half number 1.
And the time, 2 more tenths cut off the lead, but Cameron Rich has to pick it up. He's running out of time here. Damien is running a pace right now that will win him the race. The opportunity is still there for Cameron Rich. Chris Worrell is the fastest car on track right now, but that mistake proved incredibly costly at the bus stop.
Yeah, just too little too late for Chris Worrell, but again, another chance in half number 2. Again, the top 6 cars will invert. So as it sits right now, we do see Indelicato and Kian getting around that 73, so he'd be starting out front here in half number 2.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned a 6-car invert. Kynan Jones was up there almost late in the race. I mean, I like this invert in the way that I think it's safe to say the top 6 cars in this race are the 6 fastest cars today, and inverting them will not make anything too terrifying, and we'll be able to just carry on this good racing we've had.
Yeah, we've seen all of them battle up front or near up front for the lead here at least one time or another here tonight. Then we see another guy, Dale Smyhan, who having a great run in the 8th position. And just kind of looking at him and Seth Rawls' lap times, they've all been running pretty smooth, consistent laps, along with Cherry as well. And kind of another guy just a few cars back there that we haven't even mentioned all night, that 91 car, Cooper Johnson,
yep,
who of course comes in, I believe, was he second in the points coming in tonight? Or is he third?
Yeah. I also want to shout out Alex Kent. 15th may not be eye-popping, but he started the race in 28th. He's up 13 spots here. Relatively clean race car too, and could even catch me fine there. Oh, the gap's pretty big, maybe not, but still, it's great when you start 28th, be able to pass your way up to 15th. Now you get to start 15th, not as many cars to pass, and you've got track position. Really nice run there for the 14.
Yeah, good run indeed. I think a good run for a lot of these runs. Oh, speaking of me fine, that could be a position caught for Kenton. You know fine?
You know fine? Oh, this is bad. Oh, scary spot, scary spot. Oh, a little monster truck. Ah!
It could have been worse. Me okay.
Me all right.
He's gonna need some icy hot after that one.
Little icy to numb the pain, hot to relax it away.
I've
Nailed
seen
it.
the 9 car of Kian Riley inch closer to Indelicado there. He didn't get quite a good exit, but Kian is being very patient behind that 4 car. There was a lot of talk between them after that incident. I know I said it might have been a desperation by Indelicado not to let Kian get away, but these guys are not drivers who are prone to intentionally taking each other out. There could be a side to this where maybe they choose to be a little bit more civil about it.
Well, and that's the thing, because there's a big picture, you know, especially after tonight. There's only, you know, 2 more weeks left, only 4 more halves after tonight. So both these guys are fighting for a bigger picture, and they don't want to get, you know, probably too caught up in childish games. Well, let's see what happens here. Now they're battling
He
for
looked.
that.
Kian has taken a look multiple times. He has chosen not to take them. Maybe he's just 2 laps around here is a long time. And I have to think maybe he's just applying pressure. He doesn't want to stick a nose under Indelicado because going side by side anywhere on this track is treacherous. Maybe he doesn't, with a 40-point gap over anybody in the points, he doesn't maybe see the 1 point necessary to take a risk on it. Maybe he'll only choose to pass Indelicado unless the opportunity is 100% there.
He's probably playing NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, or you know, I believe that's what the game was called. But he's hitting the Intimidator button.
Yeah, I think his best move is to sit behind this 4 car, force him into a mistake, because I wouldn't try passing him and out racing him with 2 to go with the championship lead he has. There's Kian with a mistake. I was gonna say there's no point in risking it if he doesn't have to.
Yeah, you know, especially what we've seen when some of these drivers are battling for position, when they make contact. We've seen that between these 2 cars earlier tonight. We've seen it between the 86 and the 12. Or the 86 and the 15, and we've seen it with a bunch of cars tonight battling for position, how quickly it can go awry. But now we are on the final lap of this race. Damian Laniger still holding on to that 4 3/4 of a second lead. And again, a smooth operator here tonight. He knows no one picked him, and he's just got to take it easy and take that checkered flag.
Man, and what an impressive drive by him. I mean, Damian, always a force to be reckoned with on road courses. Usually the guy I expect to push it a little bit too hard, maybe find that limit and go past it. But I mean, I can't recall a mistake that 12 car has made tonight. Yeah, he's gotten into it with some guys, but he has not initiated contact. Cameron Rich is literally drifting right now.
Him and Worrell, these guys can duke it out. They're not in for any points. They're out here for fun, and they're duking it out here for seconds.
Oh my goodness! Hang on, I'll talk about Damian later. This is pretty fun to watch.
Oh boy, they try to stay off each other here.
Cameron Rich ain't done. They're both slamming the gas down.
They're sliding like they're on a dirt track here, going through the Me Fine Gourd, getting back on the racetrack. Both are sliding a little bit. Cameron, I think, slid a little bit more coming out of that corner.
But
and now that's separated that gap from like 4 or a little under 5 seconds to now over 6.
But man, for Damian, an outstanding drive from Damian. No mistakes out of him. Ran his race, ran smooth, had good enough pace to run top 5 all night, and it is paying off huge just right now.
As he's ready to cross the checkered flag here, Damian Laniger going through that last bus stop one more time. He's going to win half number 1 of the Meat Find 128 here at the Roval. And another win for Damian, getting, I believe, his 2nd win, 3rd win of the season.
He's had a few, at least.
He's had a couple. He's added another one here, and here we see Kynan Jones bringing it home in the 6th spot. He'll be up front on the pole for half number 2. Here, that other battle between teammates here. Seth Rawls, Dallas Myhan coming down to the very end, and
My hands.
He put it all. He put it all on the line there, and he'll finish 8th backwards. And Cooper Johnson rounds out that top 10. And I gotta wonder if Ty McIntosh, who came home at 11, does he have any saliva left on that tongue? Is it still sticking out?
He's probably got a piece of beef jerky resting between his teeth right now.
Yeah, man, oh man. And here, the last cars on the lead lap finishing this race off as the sponsor of tonight's event. There is that Me Fine throwback winning scheme. He's going to come home with 14th, Kenton, 15th, Capuano, 16th, and Gilberto Javier Gomera rounds out the last car that needed to finish here. I believe last car in lead lap. He'll bring it home in 17th.
Just set the record straight. This is win number 3 on the season for Damien.
So it's 3. Okay, so number 3 for Damien.
Could come at a better time too.
Yeah, and a relatively. I mean, I guess he had his exciting moments there in half number 1, and we'll actually bring him in for an interview.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, just for the points, his gap is 33 points behind Kian Relly going into this one. That's a pretty sizable gap, but he took a bite out of it here.
Yeah, chewing away, nipping away at that points lead, and it's the man of the hour here, at least man of half number 1, Damian Lanninger picking up that win. Damian, where did that run come from, bud?
I wish I could tell you. I definitely wasn't the fastest car there. It was just all about making sure that you don't wreck yourself there. I almost did one time off turn 1. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I was facing the inside wall one time, and I don't know how I saved it and fell back to 5th, and then those 4 in front tagled me, and it was just all about trying to keep all 4 on the track and not make any mistakes there.
Yeah, and that's one thing we noticed. We look back at your practice speeds, or I kind of was looking at them during practice, and relatively kind of in the middle of the road once it came to top overall speed. But one thing it did look like from you, Damien, is that you were really consistent, and like you said, you just kept it in between the ditches there, as we've seen a lot of cars slipping and sliding around the racetrack.
Yeah, really, it was in practice. I was scratching my head on what to do and where the speed was, and I found a little something on a line in qualifying that I put down a good first lap, and then I was just like, well, the second lap, let's just try something. And I found a little something, and it got me to qualify P2 there. And I didn't think that I'd be able to keep that up for the long term, like throughout the run, but it felt pretty decent throughout the race, and then I modified it for race pace or whatever, and it really seemed like the first couple laps I was decent, and then that lap 3 to 7 or 8 range, I was really struggling, sliding everywhere, and then once we got past that 8 laps into the last few of a run, I actually started feeling really better on the older tires and not sliding as much and just able to be more precise and hit the marks.
No, I got to ask you, for running better, from getting that race pace that you're just talking about, is that because your crew chief, Hank Steinmiller, he actually got out of the cockpit, as we do see him officially being scored 29th? Was it because he got out of the car and actually joined you on top of the pit box?
See, that he was supposed to be on top of the pit box, and he accidentally registered as a driver instead of as the crew chief. So that wasn't supposed to happen that way. It's actually made it more difficult with strategy-wise. He can't see everything, so I have to try and change boxes for him in the middle of a run. But he did a great job of communicating with me on what we were going to do through the strategy-wise, when we wanted to pit, how things were looking throughout the field, and then those last couple laps, just making sure that I knew the gap and not to mess up. Especially once Cam dipped off the track there, and really went from the 1 second lead to I think it was a 4 or 5 at the time. Really just keeping me calm there, and in each lap, like, hey, it's 2/10, hey, but if you run smooth, like, they're not going to catch you if you run a smooth lap and don't mess up. So he did a good job of keeping me calm inside the cockpit for sure.
So you kept you calm in half number 1. What's going to be the secret in here in half number 2? How is it going to keep you calm now that you're going to be starting, not too far back, but you got a few more cars from that second starting spot that you had in half 1?
Guess you'll just have to wait and find out, don't you?
Ooh, stay tuned, he says. I love it. Stay tuned. All right. Well, with that, any shout-outs you want to give?
Just Batflip Podcast, baseball podcast. You can find on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Goody, Carlos, Matthew for broadcasting this, Vic for putting it on, and everyone from South Shore does a good job there, and then Hank for stepping on the box.
Yeah, actually getting in that box a little bit late, but hey, you got the job done, and congratulations to you. And hey, how does it feel to close that gap on the points lead a little bit here?
Feels good, but this was going to be a race I knew was probably going to be a struggle. We're going to have to make some ground up here in half 2, because I'm not quite sure where the other 2 finished that I'm really battling with. But I felt confident about the next 2 races, at least being able to have some winning pace, so to be able to sneak out a win here, and then hopefully be as smooth as we were before, and get a good run here in the second half. We can chip a little bit more off.
I've got bad news, though. We're probably going to pick you.
No, gosh.
That's why
Ah,
we know that's the only reason why you won here, half number one. to be honest with you.
yes. Please. I mean, I'll give you guys each $5 to not pick me.
20.
We'll think about it. But best of luck here in half number two. You got to get out there and grid.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Are you bet? That was Damian Leininger bringing it home here in half number one. And with that, speaking of picks, it's pick time, and I believe I go first.
Where did your guy finish?
Oh no!
I
You
think
pick first.
I might pick first because yeah.
Wait, did I actually get points on you guys?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not gonna do it to Carlos. I want to pick Cameron Rich. Cameron Rich is technically my pick, but I'm not gonna do it to Carlos. Give me Chris Worrell.
Ooh. Well, you know what? I hate to do this. Actually, not really, but kind of.
No.
Hey, he's on my heels. I got to kick him off a little bit. I'm going with that 86 of Cameron Rich.
Oh no!
Goody. Joke's on you. I'm not gonna pick Cameron Ridge. You know why? Cameron
Why is
Ridge
that?
right now is public enemy number 1. He ran over 4 people in that first half, and he's got to pass a lot of them in this half
You know what?
as well. So maybe a little retaliation, maybe a little payback. I have a feeling Cameron Ridge is not going to be finishing this race like he finished that first one. I'm gonna go ahead and pick number 12 of Leininger.
Oh, green flag's out.
Leininger. Green flag is out. Kynan Jones has the lead. That was a good take by Carlos here. Now we go through the heartburn turn here. And Kian right away going on the
Oh
outside.
no! You shouldn't have picked him. You
Oh,
shouldn't
no!
have picked him.
Oh,
You shouldn't
no!
have picked him.
We jinxed him. He told us he was going to pay us $5.
Oh, man, and he's going all the way to the back, and all that gap he just erased for Kian, it's gone. Ashes.
And then some. And that's going to be a lot to overcome there for that 12 car of Damian Leininger. Right off the bat, right through heartburn turn, but still a lot of race to go.
Cameron Rich just drifted like 3 corners in a row already. These guys are not wasting any time going 100%.
Man, and through all that chaos, we do see Kian Raleigh and Nick Indelicato getting into the top 2 spots, passing Kynan Jones. So man, oh man, it's plentiful going on here.
So he's just gonna get out there a little bit
too much
wide.
beans!
Oh man. You know what's crazy? He didn't hit anything somehow. Usually when you spin through there, something hits you, whether it's the wall or another race car.
Yeah, so he's still got a chance to gain some spots here, but it's gonna be a tall order to pull off the sweep here tonight. But you know, we've seen these 2 cars that are up front here in the 9 and the 4. We've seen them battle it out. It was, you know, happened to be for, you know, 4th and 5th. But now they're battling for the lead, and these guys are relatively close in pace, so they can put on a pretty good show here. But that car behind him, 86, if he doesn't, you know, piss off anyone else by making car contact, or if he doesn't slide around here, you know, he's going to be in the mix as well as he does get around Indelicato for the second spot.
Saw a lot of restraint there from Indelicato. Nick Indelicato knows he needs points on Kian. Cameron Rich had a run. He pretty much moved out of the way and let Cameron Rich by just about. Didn't really move his line, but, you know, didn't fight the 86. It's way too early to worry about it. You see Cameron Rich is uncharacteristically sliding all over the racetrack, just about every corner. At this rate, he won't be as much of a factor as we think he will be later if he keeps burning it up. But that 9 car leading the race right now, something we've seen a lot to open up this chase as we move into the middle stages of it. And he's looking good pretty early here.
You know, one thing I wanted to hit back to is Nick Indelicato, you know, talking about how he, you know, really didn't give up much of a fight to Cameron Rich. And what kind of box does that paint him with that gap that he has behind Kian right now to be maybe not as aggressive that we would normally see him?
You know, here's the thing. We saw self-inflicted mistakes from just about everybody in the top 6 last race, except for the guy who won. So maybe Indelicato wants to save some rubber. Maybe he wants to put himself in a situation where he doesn't have to worry about losing control. But the flip side of that is you put somebody else in control of the race, and you have to rely on other people coming up short where you keep it clean. It's a strategy call. If I were him, I think anybody would prefer to be in Kian's position. Kian is comfortable right now leading the race. He looks more comfortable than Cameron Rich. I wouldn't say there's any pressure on that 9 car right now, and I don't know if Cameron Rich has it under him enough to go try and make a pass, at least right now.
Right now, last lap he did run about almost 2/10 faster, just a little under 2/10 faster than Kian last lap. Cameron Rich did, but definitely, as you were saying, we see Cameron Rich sliding around a bunch more, and more than the other guys in the top 3. As he almost got loose there again, But what we see from Damian in half number 1 was just being that smooth operator, and it seems like a lot of these guys are taking it a little bit easier here in half number 2 to try to save those tires towards the end.
I'd like to nominate, at least for myself, my emotional support pick.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Kynan Jones.
Good pick.
Oh yeah, love it. We're on board.
But as far as your point situation is concerned, Damian can come back.
New leader.
I don't think you're going to be any.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, new leader. Wow.
Thanks.
All right. I mean, I was looking at Damian. Was it a slip up by Kian or?
I've made a huge mistake.
No. Oh no. No. But you know, as far as the point situation, yeah, he's going to lose a little bit here in half number 2. But you know, one thing I guess to add too with Cameron Rich and how he's driving, probably a little bit more aggressive than those guys in the top 3, is that he's not out here for points.
There's nothing to lose.
He can throw it around here. I mean, if it backfires on him, you know, it doesn't hurt him any.
Yeah, you had some fun, right? That's all that matters from tonight. Go catch a checkered flag, or maybe go catch a tire barrier. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for him to be able to hang on to it, you know, and he finished, you know, in that 3rd spot. You know, he didn't get that win as he probably would have wanted to, but just by the way he was driving that car, it almost seemed like he had the most fun out of anyone out here in half number 1.
I'd say all 4 of those guys in the top 4 are having the most fun. They are on a different planet than the rest of the field. All of them 132s, except for Kian, a 133.1. Nobody else in the field ran faster than a 134.1. That 34.1 was Kynan Jones, but the entire field last time around, a whole second off. At least the top 4.
Yeah, they are on another planet indeed, and we've seen these guys, you know, mainly these 4 guys, with maybe the exception of Kynan Jones and Damian Laniger in the mix in half number 1. We've seen them all battling each other at one point or another, and yeah, right now got that track position. Looks like they're pulling away, and now you got to wonder here with Rich. Now that he's in that lead, it looks like he's being a little bit smoother, maybe not locking up the brakes as much as we've seen him in half number 1. And as much fun as he would probably have in sliding that car around, now he's got a little bit of a lead. He can probably afford to be that smooth operator now.
I'd say he has to. I mean, he definitely used some juice up early on, and you know, it paid off. He started 4th, went up there, grabbed the lead, and I'd say definitely now. Overall, I think Cameron Rich has had more pace than both Kian and Indelicato. They've all been fast. They've all, you know, looked like race winners. But I think Cameron Rich has been a little bit quicker. And I think now is when he saves some tires, manages that gap. Don't push unless you have to defend.
Yeah, we'll see how long it will last. If Kian and Indelicato get a little bit more of a pace on the long run, that could flip that switch back to aggressive mode for that 86 right now up front. And Chris Worrell too, we've seen him usually on the longer runs. I think Chris Worrell's one of those guys where once we get a few laps in, we're about four or 5 laps into here, half number 2. But it seems like maybe after about 10 laps is really when that 15 car kind of starts to shine.
Yeah, you're right. And so far he's been playing it safe. I mean, I don't know if he's been slipping around too much, but I know that he was gunning for the lead at times in half 1, and he stayed relatively calm right now. And of course, the little man inside of me is screaming, "Go Chris Worrell!" as I worry about my broadcaster points. But yeah, he's hanging back right now. No reason to push too hard. These top 4 guys don't really have a reason to race each other too hard, because we all saw how that went. I mean, it seemed like every 3 or 4 laps, these guys were banging off each other in the first half. So far, aside from the Damian loopage, relatively calm up front. And I'm not saying I don't expect them to race, but I don't expect any unnecessary aggression, at least for now.
Yeah, and speaking of maybe being smooth, not aggressive, Ray Bracey, how about that? We just seen him on the screen just a few moments ago, but he's up. Well, just as I said that.
Yeah, you jinxed him, kind of.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Tom Capuano, I think missed his braking zone. Sent him to another dimension.
Oh man, he was moving up through the field. Now he's only gained 3 spots up the 18th position. He was just
Oh my
in
goodness. Hey,
the 12th position.
Carlos, you got to go look at Bracey's save. That was a piece of driving. Oh my goodness. That was fun to watch. If you can
Let's see if we can
catch
find
that.
How about Damien? He's already back up to the 14th position, right behind Capuano and Dewar here. Oh, Capuano getting a little contact from Dustin Dewar. So everyone's using each other for breaks here, but man, oh man. But Damien kind of a nice solid rebound. He's still 28 seconds back of Cameron Rich, our leader, but definitely standings-wise looking a lot better from what we've seen lap 1.
You know, when I was talking about points
Here we
gap
go.
for Damien, I was
Oh!
yeah. Look at the save here.
Oh,
He drifted all the way through there, and he had the wheel locked to the right. I don't know how he didn't wreck it.
Good
Wow.
shunting.
yeah, that was an impressive save there by the 80 car of Ray Bracey. As
Starting to see this 9 car warm up a little bit.
yeah, he looks like he's closing that gap. He's a little over a tenth faster than the 86 of Cameron Rich, and that gap is definitely closing out.
I will say,
Capuano kicking it out.
Cameron Rich does have a little bit to race for here. If he wins the race, it will not only be In-Law Racing's first win of the season, but first win since the team's inception. So, in terms of the team history he's racing for, he's got something to race for there.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see be a first-time winner as a team in that number 86 machine. As we do also see the Zach Evans Be Fine Racing team, Wally Racing for it. Oh, but I was just watching the Pat Graham. It was not good for me. But a smile on the face of Zach Evans there a little bit as he's up 3 spots. He finished 14th at half number 1 and currently having a solid run there in the 11th spot. He has time to wipe the nose.
He's doing a pretty good job there. One thing I liked about road course is if you have to scratch your face or something, you get a straightaway to do it. But yeah, doing a pretty good job here so far.
Yeah, it looks like he's running pretty smooth. Doesn't look like he's sliding around too much, and his lap times running relatively competitive to the guys around him.
Look further back throughout the field. Oh man, I see Gutierrez is back in 22nd.
You guys are welcome for the thumbs up.
Thumbs up? Did he give us a thumbs up? I was looking at standings.
Yeah, he did
Oh.
give you guys a thumbs up.
Oh, man, I was looking through the standings as well.
Although he's going to have a mirror full of Damian Leininger here in a second as Damian continues his march through the field up to 12th.
Wow, yeah, he's worked his way back up after falling all the way back to 28th position just 8 laps ago. And oh, Capuano going around. Ooh, I think he stayed off the wall.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's
His track
okay.
position's ruined, but his race car is not any worse than it was before. Oh, I see. Oh, I saw
Ooh.
Zach Evans. Oh,
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Oh, did he get a? Did he get a? Oh,
It was-
oh
No, he got loose.
Yeah, he said he didn't mean to do that, but it works. He was probably trying to get out of the way of I think he knew Damien being one of the faster cars on the racetrack right now.
Could have been pressure. He got real sideways, almost looped it going through the first left-hander of the Me-Fine Gourd, fittingly enough as it is.
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of Me-Fine saves by the Wally Racing team out here tonight.
Looking up through the field, man, Kynan Jones is in no man's land. I mean, you know, I seem to find myself in that position. Kynan Jones is quite a bit. He's got like 9 seconds of the car in front and over 3 seconds of the car behind him. It's not such a bad spot to be. He's running 5th. Good points on the night for him if he can manage to finish here. He's already 10th in the standings as it is. He's looking to make up some serious ground on his contenders ahead of him. Already with a 6th place in the bag, just biding his time turning laps.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think, what you alluded to earlier was just being able to race the racetrack, you're not having to deal with any cars kind of messing up your braking
Unless they hit
zones
you.
or how you. If you
You meant like a no man's land. Okay.
Yeah, no man's land for kind of Jones. So yeah,
Right.
he's just kind of, and that's where I generally like to be, because I don't want to screw myself up, and probably even more so, I don't want to screw anyone else up by maybe me spinning out, and trying to, as we almost seen Zach Evans do earlier, trying to get out of the way of a car that's about to pass you. I've known I've been in that mode a time or two, but kind of Jones, we've seen him, before, run real competitive, back when we raced Montreal and in seasons past as well. So I mean, he's always a contender for a solid top 5, maybe even a podium finish in a lot of these road courses, and continuing to show that here tonight, and trying to get maximum gain on the point situation.
Let me tell you that the restraint is real from these top 3 right now. It was on the screen. Kian Raleigh took a big bite out of that exit curb from the bus stop. And Delicato had a run, but way before they even got to the braking zone. And Delicato kind of tapered off the throttle a little bit, gave himself room in front of the car in front of him. These guys they're tight to each other, but again, it was kind of like what we saw at the end of the last half. I don't remember who I was talking about. I think it actually was Kian trying to pass Delicato, not really risking a pass unless the opportunity is absolutely there. They'll probably run bumper to bumper unless something egregious happens to the car in front of them.
Yeah, and especially we'll probably have pit stops coming up, and maybe just another couple of laps. I believe it was around 16 to go and half number 1, and this again an extra lap here in half number 2. So we will be seeing him come in relatively quickly. So I think, especially for these top 3 being this close together right now, they probably won't get real aggressive until after those green flag stops.
You confirmed Damian Leininger's pit lap. I think Damian came in lap 13 to kick off the green flag cycle, and Chris Worrell came in lap 15. So about laps 13 through 15 here is when they'll pit. I don't remember if this is 26 or 27 laps this half.
This is a 27 lap half.
This is a 27 lap half. So yeah, about 14 laps to go here. You'll see the first car's coming down pit road. If I'm Damian, I'm coming down pit road early again. Worked out great for him, got him track position. He's back in 11th, and it's quite a ways up until the next few race cars he can pass.
So he's kind of got that gap. He's got that opening. Yeah, it might be worth it to pit early, but again, I'm sure we'll see the leaders come down pit road momentarily, as it does kind of look like between between Rich Raleigh and Delicato, it seems like they gain on each other. It seems like they're rubber banding quite a bit. But
yeah, compress, decompress.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of that going on. But I do feel like, though, we kind of watched this battle here with Ty McIntosh battling Cooper Johnson. I want to see, like, between the Shift Esports team banner here with the a couple S2 cars in there as well, and Cooper Johnson. They've all been just kind of half number 1, half number 2. No matter what, they've all been around each other all night long.
Yeah, just about. And, a lot of esports sim racing teams have, like, football guys and road course racing guys. They kind of just do it all regardless. So you usually see the shift cars run good at road courses anyways. And, I mean, the way they've raced the 25, the 10, and the 11, they've spent most of the night pretty much on top of each other, almost as if they were not teammates. But so far, I guess we focus on the championship fight so much, we wouldn't know if they'd kept it off each other. But yeah, they've all been pretty much hanging out around each other
all night long, and yeah, solidly, all of them in that top 10. But Damian Leininger still closing in now in 11th, closing that gap on Dallas Mayan, trying to crack back into the top 10 after starting 6th and having that trouble going into the heartburn turn here on lap number 1. Oh, Bracy! Oh boy! Did he just flip? Was that my imagination? What just happened? Oh, now he's starting to lose position. He's not losing position on tracks.
No, he's done. He died.
Oh no! Oh,
You know what?
jumped the curb. Ooh.
You know what? We saw him hit that barrier in practice, and he actually ended up on top of the barrier, just sitting on top of it.
Yeah, and that was a violent. I'm surprised that car is still rolling. Looks like he was under power after that.
There is no smoke coming out of that motor. He has made it to pit road. He's cruising down pit road. No deck lid, no bumper, no hood, no nose. It's pretty much modified at this point.
How do you rate the flip?
Modified even.
Well, it's definitely
How do
been
you rate-
modified.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not for better, but it is modified.
It is, yes. Did that come stock? No. But I would give that flip, for the aggressiveness alone, at least an 8. Ooh, an
Got a
Indelicado
flip
loses
of
a
position
second.
here.
Ooh, the judges give him good scores.
It was the exit curve, and I've seen that. That Kian has been pretty good everywhere. The one spot I have seen him struggle, I've seen Kian hop that exit curve heavily multiple times. When I say multiple, I mean like I'd probably have to use 2 hands to count the amount of times I've seen it. It's been a trouble spot for him, and he's had some pretty scary moments. It's yet to bite him. He's been able to save it every time. But there, it's going to cost him the second spot, and I don't think it really is going to matter all that much because these guys don't. I mean, that was an example. And Delicado probably could have forced a pass on him. He could have forced a pass on Cameron Rich. No reason to. He waited for Kian to slip up, and Kian is probably going to sit back here until later in the race for either of them to slip up.
Yeah, as we starting to kind of see the cycle of pit stops, and we'll see probably these leaders come down pit road momentarily. So yeah, I think for Kian, just waiting until they come down pit road as we do go into the 3Y TV multi-cam. And there we see Nathaniel Cherrick getting off pit road, Damian Leininger getting his service done, Dale Smyhan coming off pit road as well. We'll see if that kind of starts a trend with our top 3 as they're going to go through the bus stop here and see if they come down pit road.
Oh, did you see Cam?
Ooh, Kian hits
that's
the
big.
and a battle for the lead here as Indelicado looks like he'll take the lead.
Look at Cam.
We'll watch the
Cameron
replay.
Rich just took it right back.
Okay. He could
That's
the
where he
curve.
got it.
Oh, right in that final little bus stop there. He's been on fire going in that corner as we've been talking about that all night long.
Yep, he going about midway through NASCAR 3 and 4, he was just barely in Delicado's quarter panel, but he hung it around the. Oh my goodness, it is an impressive. I'm glad we're looking at this. This is a whale of a pass. I can't think of many appropriate words to describe how good it is. I mean, he gets.
This
in
is
there
what Johnson
harder
was trying to
and
do.
wrestled it away. What was
Wow.
that?
This is what Johnson was trying to do all those years ago.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
It's like if Jimmy Johnson didn't spin it. Maybe that would have happened. But yeah, Cameron Rich pulled it off.
That's what he was attempting to do. As we see, Kynan Jones, Cooper Johnson, Ty McIntosh, Zach Evans, all down pit road, getting their service done here. Cameron Rich still holding on to that top spot. Now they're getting the kind of lap traffic. So now that you're catching some of these guys that are maybe pitted or about to go a lap down, does that kind of influence when you come down pit road?
If you are up front at a road course with a sizable gap to the rest of the field, until anything starts to impede you, you have no reason to come to pit road. Now, you might see these guys come to pit road soon just because it makes sense, but they've been running nose to tail. They've been running faster than the rest of the field, and quite frankly, they're not that much slower on the old tires anyways, and this is huge. And Delicado and Raleigh diving to pit road. Cameron Rich does not. If they can be faster than him on the entrance and exit of pit road, they might be able to jump him.
73-11 make contact.
Kynan Jones going on off the course. I do have to do one thing I said in the earlier of the race here, and Dusty, just keep hitting your marks. It's 20-17, 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Who's winning?
Titans up.
Titans are up by 3. Yep.
All
Packer
right.
just scored, got the 2-point conversion.
Let's go 32 car.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Go race now.
Let's go.
We'll put him back in the infield care center. He needs help. And getting the Packer update is, again, Titans lead 20-17. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Packers just scored a touchdown, got the 2-point conversion. But Cameron Rich definitely just converting on a lot of these turns here tonight.
You know how we were talking about you don't really want to come to pit road until anything impedes you. Cameron Rich might have waited a lap too long. He got stuck behind Adam Tepe and I want to say Chris Gutierrez. They were side by side in front of him going through the first couple of corners. Rich had to slow up to avoid some contact. He didn't lose that much time, but there wasn't that much time between he and the 4 and the 9 cars. So we'll have to see how it all cycles out, but that could be the difference. Even if his tires are one lap better as he comes to the road now, even if his tires are a little bit better, if he's stuck behind them, it's going to be hard to pass.
I'm wondering now too. I'm just looking at the gap. When Cameron Rich came down pit road, I was just gonna say, yeah, he was. It's a 10-second gap between him and Raleigh. I don't know if he had trouble down pit road or what quite happened there, but could it also maybe be a case? Did Kian take a gamble and just take fuel?
Kian took 2 tires.
Wow.
And you know, I was gonna say when those first cars came in, I didn't say anything. I was thinking like, I'm surprised nobody has tried 2 tires yet. It's a gamble. It's a huge gain, and it's going to put him well clear of Cameron Rich, regardless of where he comes out of pit road. But now, Delicato will probably be faster with the 4 tires. It's going to be a mad chase to go get Kian.
Yeah, and they'll be between the 86 and the 4 if they can close that gap. Oh, Kynan Jones and Seth Rose make contact. Kynan keeps it straight, goes off course there a little bit. Man, we'll see what happened there. This might be what. Was this a Johnson kind of corner here? What happened?
There was more that led to this. You go to the exit of the backstretch chicane.
Oh, so this might have been some not so friendly contact.
There was not contact, but the 25 blocked the 73.
Oh, so maybe okay. So not so much room given between the two here. After the backstretch chicane. Kind of has a whale of a run here. We do see Rawls block it.
I wouldn't call that really hard blocking.
I mean, he had a good run there, and well, kind of. I think it's just you see that opportunity. I think kind of saw a little bit of red, not full-on aggressive rage red, but you know,
if he was seeing red, he was not seeing red for the 25 car. Let me tell you.
But look at this. I think Cameron Rich when he
there was
something
something else that happened earlier that you guys just caught the very end of. That would have been him seeing red. So.
I do want to say, we were talking, and Delicato and Cameron Rich both did take 4 tires, but as you can see, that gap is 6 seconds. Because not only did Delicato take 2 more tires than Kian Raleigh, but Nick and Delicato missed the bus stop. He was going to get in too hot. At least it looks like he decided and chose to cut it and take the penalty instead to avoid taking himself out of the race. And well, while his car isn't out of the race, I think his chances of winning might be shot now with the gap. He's got to close.
You know, something totally unrelated that's happening in the Packer game. I think one of the Packers linemen got hit in the no-no spot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not
fun. Not fun. That or maybe a groin pull, but he's in pain somewhere. Anyway.
Thanks for our Packers update. Hey, Cameron Rich can still make this a race. He's got 4 tires versus Kian's 2. He's close.
And he came out. It was about 3.5 seconds. He closed in, you know, well over a second right now. He is closing that gap. I'll be curious to see what the comparison of lap time. Last time lap out was Kian's kind of outlap coming off pit road, so it was significantly slower, obviously. But he is just humming down this racetrack. We'll see how much faster that 86 car is over that 9.
Considerably.
Yeah, it is.
I just say that based on it was 3 seconds last time I mentioned it. It's down to
now it's under 2.
Right.
Oh wow! So it's well over a second, almost a second, 1.3 seconds between Cameron Rich, and yeah, he is considerably faster to everyone in the top 5 right now. Cameron Rich is a man on a mission, and you know, we talked about him being a smooth operator once he got the lead. Now that he doesn't have it, I mean, it looks like he's still going relatively smooth here, but he's definitely on the chip right now. He's going for it.
You know, talking about the points, half one, I want to say it was Nick only getting a point on Kian, Damian gaining a considerable amount of more points. Cooper Johnson is losing points to Kian and Delicato, and both halves here is he's running all right. I think the way the points are looking right now is Delicato will move back up to 2nd, but if they finish 1 spot apart again but flipped, I could probably already tell you Yeah, that points gap is still going to be 40 plus for Kian. I mean, not a whole lot of movement here. We still got 10 laps, and there is still a race for the lead to be had here. Kian Raleigh doing everything he needed to do tonight, top 5 in half one, and as long as nothing goes horribly wrong, at least another second place finish here.
See, and what do you do if you're Kian? You see that 86 car of Cameron Rich, and there we see in that spot,
Oh my God,
just closes in that gap. He didn't get quite the exit that we've seen him earlier.
Still closing a whole second.
Yeah, he closed quite a bit, but you know, once he does get to that back bumper, I think it's a matter of if, not or when, not if. Does Kian just kind of let him go by with that points lead that he has? Not try to contest it. We've seen again those side-by-side battles with their leaders in half number one. Do you risk it? Try to hang on to that lead?
Yes and no, especially because Cameron Rich has nothing to lose. You want to win races. I mean, why else do you show up other than to win? Kian, I think, is going to fight for the win, but I would certainly tread lightly if I were him. After this, we're only going to have 4 more halves of OSCA racing.
Oh boy, contact between the 73 and the 11, turning Nathaniel Cherry around. And he's going to lose a
Do you remember when I said that he was going to be seeing red earlier?
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're going to have your work cut out for you, man.
Sometimes contact just happens incidentally.
Yeah. Sometimes
Oh, not the
you
emotional
get
support.
into the heartburn turn. Or no, yeah, that was the heartburn turn.
Yeah, it was the heartburn turn.
See how it kind of, wow.
Of course, he was blocking. I see.
Yeah.
A lot of heartburn is going to be had after this one, I think.
Oh yeah, that's kind of
For the
a.
record, I'm not justifying what happened.
No, of course.
Well,
It's just,
When I
Oh,
said
whoa,
he was
whoa,
seeing
whoa,
red
whoa, whoa,
earlier,
whoa,
that's
contact!
what I was talking about.
oh, Cameron Rich at the outside wall.
Oh man, that is massive. He went for it. I mean, he went for the lead, and I want to say Kian doored him, but they were side by side at a part of the track where I think the last time we saw guys try to do that, it was Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney when they did the clash there, and it went about as you would expect.
Yeah, as
I mean, they're backing up on the racetrack right now. I don't know how they're doing this.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
the broadcast. Here it is.
oh, here we go.
That's just what happens. I think going through their double wide. Kian probably
Yeah.
didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, it's just an awkward spot to catch a guy. We've seen how quick Cameron Rich was going through that kind of final bus stop there, and man, and that was a pretty good lick for Cameron Rich with that right front corner. You see the damage there. How is that going to affect him here in the last 8 laps?
I mean, he's still got the fresh tires, but now he's got damage, and that could work out for Nick Delicato, by the way, who that gap was essentially sliced in half. He's going to have to hope Cameron Rich can get back up there and fight Kian, but I think we're seeing that damage is not doing him any favors. You know, Cameron Rich has nothing to lose here. He's probably going to drive his little heart out here, everything he possibly can. If he wrecks the car, or if he puts it in victory lane or the catch fence, it doesn't really matter. I think with his braking here, the way he gains time here, even if he's a little bit slower through the rest of the track, I think he can stay close enough to make something happen.
Yeah, definitely closing the gap considerably there. So definitely getting back on it after getting that heavy damage to the right front of that car.
Oh, we
and
got
that kind of
off pit road here in front of Kian.
We can see if that could be a big factor too. Is Delicato now? He's closed that gap between the front two, the guys ahead of him. So if we have another little scuffle, even maybe not as big as the one we just saw between the 9 and the 86, Delicato could definitely capitalize off that.
Yeah, and you know, another thing we have to consider is not only did Kian taking 2 tires slow him down in general, nobody has had to put that many laps on the left sides. I mean, Kian's looking at almost 30 laps on the left sides here at this punishing road course when it comes to tires. So the handling is going to get worse and worse on that 9 car, and I think as we can see, Cameron Rich is a little bit quicker even with the damage. He is actually hitting him there, coming back onto the oval. Cameron Rich, despite the damage, has gone nowhere. This race is not over, and all the while, Delicato is 2 seconds quicker that time, still gaining here. I mean, if they have a little bit of a scuffle, like you said, it doesn't have to be much. That 4 car will be right back into the picture. This race is, it is so far from over.
Yeah, we're not even close to it being over right now, and about a half a second back. Cameron Rich is right now. I want to see what that gap closes to after we hit this final bus stop. This is really where he's been making magic happen.
It's kind of scary to watch.
It's almost terrifying to see. Time-wise, doesn't seem like he's just a little under half a second, but it seems like car length-wise, he's definitely closed that gap.
Yeah, and you see he's bobbling it all over the place. He's driving it with everything he's got. He's having to compensate for that damage. The race car fighting against him a little bit more than he might want it to. But again, he's going to have that tire advantage over the Kean. As much as he's going to have to compensate for damage, Kean is driving on completely worn left side tires. And they might not have to get together. And Delicado was still quicker than both last time by about half a second. The 4 car might actually catch these two before it's over.
Yeah, 6 laps to go, and just last lap, he was 2 seconds back. Right now, about a second and a half off the rear bumper of that 86 machine. So, definitely not a lot of a gap. Ooh.
By the way, look who's in 5th.
Yeah,
Wow,
I was pointing
Damien,
that out.
What a drive by that 12 car. Getting back in the mix, so
I jinxed him. He had a cut track. I'm awful tonight. Every time I say something about anybody.
Man, and all that work that he had there, just unable to make it stick there. Now he's got to work to try to get back into the top 5 once again. Tight battles going on all around the track here.
Good. Oh my God, Jimmy Johnson.
Oh
my goodness, they get together.
In the wall, both are make contact.
There comes Delicado.
And Delicado right there, right on the bumper.
Cameron Rich moved him. Kean into the barriers. Unbelievable.
New leader.
Oh my goodness. New leader in Delicado takes over the lead of Cameron Rich, who doesn't have a front bumper after getting in the back of the 9 car. And then Delicado might want to be careful around the 86.
And Delicado is an unwounded race car and fresher tires than the guy behind him and no damage. And Delicado needs to be careful. He's got 5 laps to make this pass and all the cars in his favor. He needs to be as careful as he possibly can be.
Oh man. And now it's Kean on the chase, but now the 9 car of Kean has a lot of damage to his car. Cameron Rich, you see him without the front bumper. And Delicado, I think right now could be in the catbird seat to get the win here in half number 2.
Absolutely is, and there is quite a bit of fierce radio chatter going between these two guys. It's never over. I think Cameron Rich just pulled over and let Delicado by, or he's just that wounded.
Could be that wounded. Yeah, he just let that 4 car go by, as we see on the racetrack. In Delicado in the lead. Yeah, he was not happy, but also again, kind of going in that corner, we've seen how much gap that Cameron Rich kind of closes in, and Kean has the right to defend his track position too, but it just seemed like Cameron Rich was so superior going through that last bus stop that, oh boy,
they're not happy.
They are not happy.
You could make a 10-minute long radioactive on this one, Vic. I know you're not going to. I know
Vic's gonna have a long night.
It kills you to do it, but you could.
Well, okay, I would do it for this race, but my PC freaked out halfway through the first half.
Find someone. This is juicy stuff.
I know. Well, I mean, if you want to do it, I'll pay you an extra few dollars.
Well, hang on. We might not be done here.
We might not be done as the 9 car gets right on the back bumper of the 86. He swung for it.
He tried it.
Swinging for it.
Johnny Eckert just came in for the voice chat.
What?
What did he
Where
say?
did he come from? It turned into like an all-star
And
wrestling
Seth Roll
match.
says, "By God, it's Johnny Eckert." I didn't even know Johnny was in
the
here.
crowd. What the heck is going on out here? 4 laps to go. Chaos is ensuing. Nick Delicado, your race leader, and it's something that he needed after the way this chase-off has started out for him. And right now, after a wild, just last couple laps, there's just a lot to unpack here, boys.
know, in terms of points, Indelicado's not going to really realistically gain a whole lot on Kian. Even if he does win the race and Kian finishes second or third, it's not going to be a big gain. But Indelicado has not caught a break yet in these chase-offs. This is the break he needed. He seemed like he was down for the count. You know, with cutting the bus stop, it wasn't working for him. He was fast tonight, wasn't the absolute fastest, and finally it seemed like something broke through and he caught a break. And even though he might not gain a whole lot of points, a win is massive. It's momentum. It's just he's got to capitalize on it. And as I say that, you know, Kian Riley, he has 3 wins already. A 5th and a 3rd tonight is not like a loss of momentum. It's just these two guys will be at the peak of their game for these last 4 halves as we close out tonight. And I'm not really sure what the state will be between everybody after tonight, but I think if there were any hurt feelings, they maybe got hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like, just by the radio chatter alone, for those of you not listening at home, very animated and probably will continue here. But again, as far as Indelicado, yeah, just couldn't catch a break. You know, we had the blow up at Phoenix and kind of the repercussions from that, and things didn't go a whole lot better last week at Las Vegas, and just picking up that win, or picking up this win, if he's able to hang on to it for the final, you know, 2 laps here, once they hit the stripe, will be huge for Nick Indelicado. And even after all that, for even Kian, I mean, I'm sure he's probably not thinking of it now, but all that ruckus that just happened, he's potentially lucky to end up with a podium finish here.
I can't believe he's still 3rd after all that. I mean, that was an insane set of corners, and you know, he's still got something to race here for. I don't think he should be taking shots at Cameron. I know he wants to. He's got to focus on passing Cameron Rich. He needs that point. And I know we were talking about don't risk it, but Delicado's going to win the race the way things are going right now. He's not really gaining or losing time on the guys behind him. He is definitely cruising. Kian needs to do everything he can to make sure Indelicado doesn't get a big head here. I'm like, yeah, Nick, if you're Nick, you win the race, that's great. But the guy you're gaining points on finishes right behind you, that still sits in the back of your head.
Yeah, it'll definitely, ooh, boy.
I think he still wants a piece of that bumper, I think. I don't know when he's going to get it.
Yeah, still being pretty aggressive now as we're about a lap and a half away. Kind of Jones out pit road.
I'm curious. I don't know if there's a penalty or damage.
Yeah, now falling out of the top 10, so a good night for Kyan. Just kind of gets a little bit worse here as he's going to lose a bunch of track position here.
Hey, he came in his box and stopped for a few. Like, maybe he was short on fuel. He topped off, perhaps.
Yeah, interesting note. I think is he back? He's back on the racetrack in 12th. As we're now on the white flag lap, 1 more lap to go. And now Indelicado, all he has to do is be smooth here on the last lap, and he'll pick up win in half number 2 here. I think win number 9, right? I feel like I'm trying to keep track of this.
No, I think you are correct. We're looking at win number, oh no, this is big number 10 on the season.
Ooh, no, he's going double digits here if he can hang on and ride smooth here for the final 3/4 of a lap. We'll see if everything gets settled here, but it looks like Cameron Rich has pulled away from Kian Riley, so everything seems to be calm here on the racetrack. And a guy who's dominated again the regular season, looking to kind of catch a break, as you said. It looks like he's going to be able to catch one. So could have got better if those 2 cars maybe made contact. But things are starting to look up for that 4 car. Look out.
Yeah, and even though, again, I know I've already mentioned he might not gain a whole lot of points on that 9 car tonight, but a win is a win. Delicado's got 9 of them already. Maybe he gets a little luck in this one. When you win that many races by dominating, you know, one's going to come your way just by circumstance eventually. And hung around the front all night, and it looks like finally in these chase-offs, one of these things is going to go his way.
Yeah, things going his way indeed. He's going to go through the bus stop one final time here as Nick Indelicado survives and advances.
Behind him.
Oh, calamity does happen behind him for second spot. And Nick and Delgado will win half number 2. Kian will come home in second.
Vic,
And Cameron Rich coming home in third, but there was definitely some extracurricular activity there between the 9 and the 86.
you okay? Oh, we might not be. Oh, okay. Well,
All I have to
Yeah.
say about that is watching it happen was no mercy. That is the best way I can describe it.
I kind of
You're gonna
thought
look
that
at
would
it,
have
yeah.
happened. It's why I didn't want to cut away from that camera. But the 4 was gonna win, and I regret cutting to the 4.
Yeah. Oh boy, I can't believe Kian made it stick. But obviously the love lost between the 9 and the 86, not so much.
And you know, I'd be worried if I were Kian. I don't know if that's going to go over very well with race control. I don't know if that's a move I would have made against somebody who has nothing to lose when you're racing for a championship. He's got a points gap, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain that points lead when you're sitting in a penalty box. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, they're still fighting. They're not happy with each other.
Yeah, it might be a second before they get up in the interview booth as they are talking down pit road, jaw-jacking with each other.
Or what each other?
Jaw jacket.
Jaw-jacking.
Jacking each other's jaws up and down. That's
Say
aggressive.
it like that.
Oh,
Don't ever say it like
very,
that.
I've never heard of jaw jacking before.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's an old man thing. Maybe it's something totally different. I don't know.
Hey, look at Nathaniel Cherry. Clip to him real quick. How the heck did he get in there?
But hey, he finished 10th.
No, I
After-
mean, like,
after
where
he-
he is physically on the racetrack right now. He's found a forbidden realm.
Where
He
is
can't
he?
get out.
Whoa!
Well, I'll be
what?
darned.
Impossible! How does this happen? So while we wait for the kind of the off-track stuff to get settled out, it's still very heated. We can tell you right now. If you know,
Oh!
He hopped the curb and
Oh.
and springboarded off his teammate.
it might be, dude, that's impressive.
You know what's
We don't
funny
have
is that it
anybody in the
said he
interview
entered
waiting
pit
right now.
lane.
Yeah, we get to watch the Olympics here. The Vic's right now getting involved. OSCA's getting involved in trying to separate this fight here. And ooh.
Oh,
Out of no words being said.
Yeah, Vic said they both have it coming between the 86 and the 9. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Oh, that freaked me out for a second.
Sorry, I gotta go back. I gotta also grab my laundry. Oh wow!
There you go. Oh, impressive. So Vic getting involved, and I think he's sitting down Cameron Rich and Kian Rally, and definitely could be interesting how this plays out. You know, going. You know, we have an off week next week for Thanksgiving, obviously, but you know, in 2 weeks we'll be going to USA International, and we might be a couple drivers late there.
because I joined as a driver, I messaged to the text channel if anybody's available for an interview. Hey, Kian's here.
Hey, Kian is here.
My guy, my second place.
Yeah, so you get to start it off, and
Oh, boy.
yeah, get ready. Here we go. Kian Rally coming home in second.
Yeah, Kian with the duo top 5, 5th and 2nd place finishes. We'll get to the juicy stuff in a minute, but I want to start with basics first. Charlotte Roval is a track that's grown familiar to drivers at this point. I'm most curious because it's something that I wanted to run, obviously, after hearing about the change. That we're calling it the gourd, those extra corners. What are those like? How treacherous is that little new section of the track?
Really just I think it just stands to add a few seconds to the lap time. Really, it doesn't change a whole lot in the grand scheme of the racetrack. It's just a few extra corners you got to deal with. Super low speed, super low tire wear, allows for a slightly less treacherous exit onto the oval. So I think it was fun. Honestly, I liked the extra few corners in there. One thing I didn't like was the back straightaway chicane, but I managed all night. It only bit me a couple of times, but yeah, I mean, I was up in arms when this layout was announced. I wasn't very happy
Yes.
about it, and honestly, I can say nothing that happened out there tonight was a product of the racetrack. So, in hindsight, I like the track change.
And just in general, these B cars always seem to be so unforgiving on the road courses. As nice as they are on ovals, they are a handful to get under braking, a handful to get off the corners. Charlotte seems to be a bit of a nicer racetrack, though. What was it like out there? What was the major problems and the gremlins trying to get it around the track?
Well, the problems were the other cars, obviously, but besides your usual suspects, the turtle curbs, the sausage curbs, whatever the hell you want to call them, those things stink. I think they're terrible and they're a detriment to road course racing. But I mean, apart from that, the track still flows well. It does nicely. A lot of fun corners. It obviously was designed for this type of race car, so it suits the race car really well.
All right, and I guess we'll get to the other stuff now. I want to start with you and Cameron Rich. I'm gonna be on. It was something I wasn't expecting.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'm gonna leave it a little open-ended for you. I guess speak on it. Talk to us about it.
He's not running for anything. He's just out here to be a jackass and cost people their races. So, I mean, I took 2 tires, and obviously that was it didn't work out. I wasn't very fast with only the fresh right side. Turns out the left sides wear more. I didn't really think that would be the case, but I took the wrong set of tires. So I guess the right side tire calls giveth, and the right side tire calls taketh away. But yeah, man, I went out there. I did my best. I held my own until he put me up on the curb, and I put him in the wall. And then the next time through there, he just did everything in his power to wreck me and manipulated the race and gave the win to my championship rival, even though he has no place meddling in that.
And one thing I'm worried about is penalties. I know whenever you get into scuffles with drivers, it'll be on your and race control's mind, obviously. Did you really have any regard for that move going into that last chicane? Is that
I
in the
just
back
locked
of your
up.
mind, or you just locked up?
Tires were hot. Left leg's not feeling too great.
You
Brakes
did
were
tweet
hot.
about that before the race.
Yeah, I did take a trip to the hospital earlier last week.
Ooh.
Dislocated kneecap, but
Oh,
obviously I'm
damn.
yanking your chain. But I mean, I think if one guy puts one guy in the wall, another guy can put him in the wall. I think that's fair.
Bit of an
He
eye
still
for
finished well, so
yeah.
Yeah, the
Sorry, to
Dakota
cut you off. A
Hammurabi.
little bit of an eye for an eye there. What was that, Carlos?
Dakota Hammurabi.
I have
That's
no
the-
idea what he just said.
That's the eye for the eye. That's the
Dakota
old system.
Dakota Hammurabi.
Yeah.
but, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was egregious, but I mean, he still finished well. I still finished well, so I'm running for something. He's not, so every position matters to me.
And
whether it comes with a grid penalty or a points penalty, that's fine. I deserve it, but you can't go out there and do that to people.
And all things considered, Nick, his points gain on you is going to be very minimal. And with Damian winning that first half and then having the tragedy happen to him in the second half, your points lead is still going to be very well intact here.
Yeah, for now.
For now, barring
We've got
anything
7
else.
guys out here trying to wreck me every week, so I don't know how that's going to stand. I'm gonna
I
go
guess-
into your question now. I don't think it's going to stand,
I was going to
especially
say,
after USA. I mean, I got into Seth tonight. I know that's one thing I did that wasn't very good of me. He just ran a different line than me, and I got into the back of him, and it sent him around, and I was committed at that point. I couldn't do a whole lot. He got his say with tearing the left side out of the car, but that wasn't right. But I mean, apart from that, man, I didn't do anything to anybody tonight. I got taken out. Nick completely took me out, came across the track and just wiped me out. And then the whole thing with whatever, I think it was the 86, just running me over repeatedly. No patience, no respect, no anything from anybody. And I know I'm one to talk, but I didn't do anything to anybody tonight that was on purpose or malicious. And I think the past couple weeks I've done a pretty good job, and this is how I'm repaid. So it's not right.
you voiced your concerns about having a target on your back, but in terms of things that are in your control, maybe your on-track pace and prowess at tracks, the 2 remaining that we have, USA and Homestead, are those things you think you can fall back on?
Yeah, we're going to be fast at both racetracks. I'm just going to have to rely on the cushion going into USA. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Small racetrack. I'm at a loss for words. I'm flabbergasted. I love that word. What a fun word. I'm at a loss, man. You know, I'm a little worried about USA. I think Homestead will be all right. We just need to get into Homestead with some sort of buffer, and I think we can make that happen. Obviously, I've only got a few allies out there now, 2 or 3 guys I think that would have my back every week. But I know nothing that I did tonight was popular, but we can't have guys coming in here and getting involved in business that just has nothing to do with them and acting like it's, you know, it's warranted. It's not. And me running him back over wasn't warranted either. But, you know, I just don't like that, man. I know I've been one to get into people this season, but I've never blatantly wrecked anybody out of the lead on purpose. So I don't know. And, you know, and it comes back to the fact that I'm running for a championship, and the guy that took me out tonight is not. So it's just not right.
Yeah, and you know, I suppose the good thing you mentioned, you're going to have that points gap. Whatever happens at next week at USA happens, you're going to have that points gap to fall on and your own pace. You still got out of here with good finishes, though, with your points lead intact, despite all the on-track shenanigans, Kian. Before we let you out of here and enjoy the rest of your night, do you have any other thanks and shout-outs to give?
Of course. My usual round goes out to Vic and Dallas and the guys that put this show on, even though tonight was a little questionable, I think. But it's nothing to do with them. They can't control what happens once the green flag drops. They can only do stuff afterwards. So everyone did their best tonight. I appreciate Vic going out there and watching over the race tonight. He's got his hands full with that. I'm sure the broadcast is entertaining. You guys have a million storylines to talk about because, you know, they're all centered around me, and I always seem to get wrapped up in something. So, you know, you guys do a spectacular job every week. And to the guys over at Wally Racing for taking a chance on me, giving me a shot to run for the championship because, well, you know, I think, especially as of late, I'm the driver that deserves it the most, just due to sheer pace and what I'm going to have to deal with now. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, my condolences go out to anybody that was caught up in anything tonight, whether it be the one guy I sent around or anything else that happened. I know road courses, that's just product of the place, so. But, you know, yeah, I mean, my thanks go out to you guys, league admins, lead runners, sponsors, especially MeFine sponsoring the race tonight. I mean, it's just, it's a lot of fun. So even when bad things happen, it's something to look forward to every week. And I'm glad I get to take a break, go celebrate Turkey Day next week. So, yeah, my thanks go out to you guys, the broadcast, the league admins, all of our sponsors, and everybody who didn't try to wreck me tonight.
All right, a productive start to this these playoffs for you, Kian, getting out of one of the most treacherous rounds we might see with the points lead intact. Congratulations again on the 5th and 2nd place finish tonight. Enjoy your off weekend. We'll see you back here in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
I sure hope so.
All right, that was
Thanks,
Kian. Absolutely. Kian with quite a bit to say there in that interview. A little more talkative than we're used to seeing Kian.
Yeah, a little more emotional. And one thing I'm going to look out for before we bring up our third half number 2 winner. You know, he's talking about, you know, the target that's on his back and the guys that were getting into him, you know, or the things that could potentially happen to him in the coming weeks. But what I have to wonder is the position he might have put himself in going into USA in a couple weeks. I think that's going to be something definitely interesting to kind of follow along. And of course, you can probably follow along and see what penalties or what have you doled out at race_OSCA at twitter.com. Be sure to follow along there. I think that might be a little bit bigger of a concern for him than maybe the competition in the meantime, but we'll see about that. But with that, we'll bring in the other half of that incident here is Cameron Rich, who man probably had the fastest car here all night, Cameron, and you know, just it seemed like every time you got close to the lead, you just couldn't quite make it happen. And talk us through your night here a little bit. And first, I guess even first of all, how did you get through those corners? It seemed like you braked later and still got that corner exit pace. What was your secret, man?
Man, I don't know. That first race was pretty fun. I gotta apologize to Kynan and Chris. I made a mistake both times, dumped them both. I just got a little excited. I gotta thank Johnny for bringing him in. I know this car was running for an owner championship. I know the previous gentleman who was interviewed probably said we weren't running for anything, but we were. And honestly, I'm not going to talk about that person. I don't want to waste my breath on a 13-year-old little punk like that. So we're going to talk about the first race and the second race up until the last lap. It was really good. I think it would have been really cool if I could have been talking about my first OSCA win here. I think that second race was probably, I don't know. Damien was pretty good in race number 1, but race number 2, I don't know. I got a little roughed up there, and then stuff happened. So whatever. That's how that person wants to race, and that's been clear a lot. I don't even race in this league a lot, and I know that's how this person races. So I'm sure they trashed me in their interview, like I said. So I don't really, it's whatever. I'm not gonna harp on it too much. I just want to thank Johnny again for bringing me in, and I want to thank Vic for having a really cool league to run in. I hope I can run here again. I hope I wasn't run off too much from it.
And hopefully this didn't stray away from running. It was definitely entertaining to watch you in both halves, and it seemed like not only how hard you could drive through the corners, sometimes you're sideways all over the place. It was certainly a treat to watch you run out there tonight. And but wow, there again, just a lot of stuff going on. But that new section, the Charlotte Roval long course, we had Matt bring us up in his last interview as well. Was there any different challenges that what we were calling the gourd section here tonight, or the Me Fine 7, 8, 9 corners? Did that bring any different challenges to the Roval here tonight?
I mean, a little bit. Really, I thought the most challenge was that backstretch chicane. It's still the old one from 2018, 20 whatever. That honestly, I think the Roval is one of the worst tracks NASCAR has ever run on and ever will run on. But that's whatever. It's fun. It's just kind of like flying fighter jets around a gym while drunk and on acid. It's a trip.
Can I?
But were you not entertained?
Wait. What
But
if you
yes.
flying fighter jets around a gym while drunk?
And
on acid, yes.
And on acid. Let's write that down. I'm keeping that.
And also, do you have experience with that?
Well, I can say both individually, but fighter jets, no. Other two, yes, but not together. So I gotta think that all three would be one hell of a race. And Vic, if you're listening, if you wanna get something in, maybe like a special event. But
I mean,
yeah.
we're always down for special events, man.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
But
hey,
yeah,
you gotta make sure you run the dare car next time now.
I think you guys got more interviews, so I'll go ahead and just. I want to thank Johnny. I want to thank my wife, Caitlin. She's my biggest fan. We actually got married pretty recently, so
Congratulations!
Hell yeah!
Oh, congratulations! Yeah, awesome.
That was pretty cool. So a good run tonight. Yeah, the Roval is fun. It just. I hope 3Y TV. I hope you viewers like that. That was some pretty cool stuff. I mean, you can't really ask for more from a road course race. You had tempers, beating and banging, people just running off the track, people coming back on the track. Well, it was pretty cool.
All right. Well, yeah, it was a wild one indeed, and hopefully we'll see you on the racetrack once again out here in OSCA competition relatively soon.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. It's Cameron Rich coming home third in half number 2. And yeah, I think he was using the part of the Bristol saying, and that's definitely with the tempers flare. And that's kind of what it felt like we had going on here tonight, Matthew, as we'll get Nick and Delgado off here for the interview as well.
I'm stoked to hear Cameron say he wants to come back and run next season, man. I want to see him in a full-time seat.
I think that's.
You want it, you got it. I'll make it happen.
Ooh, all right.
You'll make it happen. Okay, let's do it. Come on.
Boom, let's do it. And well, without further ado, here we'll bring in half number one winner. Hopefully, we didn't interrupt him from some craziness going on. But Nick, you know, up until this half number two, it seemed like you couldn't catch a break here in the chase off so far, and with fireworks, tempers, punches, whatever you want to call it, being thrown on around you, it seems like you snuck one through there and got that win. It's got to feel pretty good, man, to finally have something go your way.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. I think the key word there is mistakes. There's been a lot of mistakes made. Even in this race, I had my mistake in the first race, came back, had a really good finish there. Even in the second race, Kian took 2. Cam was really fast. I had 4 and I spun myself out, did a nice little loop, then missed the chicane. I know they had their incident, but I think I still would have had a shot there at the end. But overall, I'll take a win. Something went my way for once. We're still down in the points, but at the same time, it just I feel like it gives myself more time to have fun here in the next couple of races. Not worry about it. I've done what I could.
Yeah, certainly getting back in the groove, and maybe a little subconscious momentum that goes into it, and maybe even whatever comes with what happened between the 9 and the 86 could definitely play into your favor as well. So you never know. You might be back in 2 weeks at USA International, and be in a lot better position what you're even walking home right now with.
Yeah, no, USA is going to be it's going to be an interesting race. So, obviously, there's a lot of tempers right now. I've been on the bad side of it, the very bad side of it, and been pretty unlucky. But 2 solid finishes. I feel like I was one of the fastest, along with Rich and Whirl there. So, we were really fast, and that's all you can hope for week in, week out is a chance to win. But overall, it was actually a fun track. Honestly, I was really looking forward to Daytona Road, and I heard about the switch, and I was kind of iffy, and then you get in there, and it's actually pretty fun. So, overall, it's just a fun night.
We did ask the other two guys we interviewed about the longer section, and of course there's the old style bus stop, but we're calling it the Gourd here in the booth. Did the Gourd bring any extra challenges for you here tonight?
No, it was a part of the track where I was worried, but honestly, I figured it out really well. And I found a line that really worked for me, and I that's where I spun through. But honestly, I that's really where I felt comfortable. So that back straightaway chicane, I think I was clinching myself every single time I went through there. No matter what happened, I caught air at least 5-6 times. I think I had 40 seconds of damage or something like that just from those curbs alone. So it was chaos, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of you guys were having a whole heck of a lot of fun. Not only battling each other, but battling the racetrack. But one thing I think me and Matthew did notice here tonight too, that I guess I kind of forgot to bring up with the other two guys. It seemed like it was very hard to kind of set up a pass out here, as it kind of generally is with the Roval. But it seemed like a lot of times when guys got too wide, it could have caused a little bit of havoc.
Yeah, it was sketchy. I mean, I think in one lap we had all 4 of us spin out in literally the span of 2 corners. I know Rich and Whirl got into it, and then me and Kian got into it. And when you go, it's weird because some of these corners, it's just like the angle you take. You could take a wide angle, you'll have a great runoff, and it kind of evens out. But the entry to the corner can be so much different and cause problems. But road courses are fun. I like road courses.
I have a question. It hasn't been asked yet. Were you entertained tonight?
Oh yeah.
I was very entertained actually.
Were you? That's good.
I wish I got to see it up close, but I was pretty entertained.
I mean, you were part of the action in half one.
That is true.
How little time did you lose in pit lane?
Honestly, I think 9 seconds. Yeah.
You didn't lose much.
You
were worried that drive-through was going to kill you, weren't you?
Well, I mean,
did you not think that I thought it out, Nick?
Well, you didn't address it before the race, so I was like, oh, great, now I have to serve this.
I didn't think I would have had to.
I didn't think it would give me a penalty because I had to miss what is it, Whirl and Rich spinning, and I had to cut through that part. But I get worrisome sometimes, but I want to win.
Yes. Hey, and here you are. Boom.
Exactly.
Gotta love it. And yeah, it definitely was a good show. But and you got to enjoy probably the little bit of a post race fireworks as well. But did you enjoy any of Johnny Eckert's branded popcorn while enjoying those festivities?
I didn't know that was a thing. Do I get a free bag for winning?
You might have talked to Johnny about that.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll get a package. Maybe he'll sponsor, a driver who won't leave their team. And, maybe we'll get that one day. I at least have respect.
With that, again, you're talking about next week. Maybe talk about how you think you're going to run next week at USA, and any thanks you want to give out.
Yeah, next week, 2 weeks. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to everybody. But USA in a couple weeks is going to be a ton of fun. I got to challenge my inner rookie series street stocks for USA. So going to be a lot of beating and banging. I mean, tempers will flare. I mean, it's bound to happen. It's going to be crazy, but I think that's part of the chase, and that's what happens. So got to get some practice in, see how the car drives. Other than that, I'd love to thank my team. We week in, week out, do a great job communicating, helping each other out, practice, adjustments, whatever we see on the track. And I can't thank them enough. Everybody's supportive of each other, and that's all I can ask of. Along with that, on the car every week, you see it, Sam Drace, great friend of mine. Happy to get him back into victory lane. He does motorsports photography, so you can follow him, Twitter, Instagram, along with Shift Esports, our team. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, trying to build the social. So other than that, thank you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys again for broadcasting. Thank you, Vic, for putting this on every week.
One last thing I got to say. Speaking of your Shift Esports teammates, it was also entertaining watching them. They were kind of like a little caterpillar running in the back half of the top 10. It seemed like no matter where they went together in a nice formation. That was kind of cool to watch too.
Yeah, it's nice when everybody can be consistent and run well. So, like I said, happy for those guys. Happy to have a team that finally works together and does what they should do.
All right, yeah, and hopefully that translates even to next week at USA International. But again, congratulations, getting win number 10. You're double digits now, baby.
I'd love to see it. Maybe we'll make it 11. Lucky number 11.
Hell yeah, let's go for it.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Well, you have a happy Thanksgiving and take a little rest, man.
We'll do. You guys too. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, me too. That was Nick Indelicato coming home with the win in half number 2. And Matthew, I do got to say, before we end tonight's broadcast, I think maybe one of the best things we do have is a bye week, having Thanksgiving next week, because I think that might curb a little bit of the tempers that would be going into a short track.
It depends if Cameron Rich shows up next week or not. I mean, the business might not be settled between he and Kean, but man, yeah, it has been a very, very interesting and firework laden chase-offs here so far. It seems we've gone every race so far with something incredible happening, and there has been no short of surprises in the action that OSCA always brings. And I just got to reiterate again, some of the most fun things I've watched are the OSCA road courses. Every time this league goes to a road course, whether it's insane and drama or it's fantastic racing, it is always one heck of a show. And if you tuned in tonight, I'm glad you watched it, and we can't wait to see you guys back here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it'll be it's definitely a fun one to watch indeed. But everyone have a happy Thanksgiving from all of us, from Carlos, Matthew, and Vic Bloom. We wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks from now, USA International. They'll be right here on 3 Wide Racing Television. But until next time, happy Thanksgiving and good night now.